Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
They come out with a huge three. It's Halliburton to Tucker. And Siakam. Another 30-piece for a bomb shot. Halliburton. Tyrese Halliburton has gone mad. 5 field goals in this quarter.
Edmond left field. This one sends Dominguez back. He's at the wall. It's over the wall. Tommy takes, does it again. 9th time that he has touched the ball, and the game is tied at 1.
1-2, up the middle, into center field. And that's going to score Hamilton and Rafaela to throw to third. Out at third base with a slide is Duran. 2 runs in. Devers knocks him home. And the Red Sox stretch their lead to 5-1.
Broderick. Chopped on to third. Here's Stokes. And Nebraska stays alive in Chapel Hill. The Huskers find a way to get the win today.
S bounces in. That is fair. Over Erlov's head. Creighton scores. They win it. A walk-off winner to vault to the regional final.
Good morning. Welcome into Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centrus Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. What's up, DB?
What is going on?
Oh, not too much. How was your weekend?
Weekend was fine, man. Lot of we talking baseball.
Lot going on.
A lot of baseball.
A lot of baseball.
We got some mandatory OTAs coming up, and I'm still missing the quarterback.
I don't know if we're missing him.
Nebraska's got camp season going. That's good. Got a couple more offers out. And it's the official start of the workouts down in Lincoln. So
June 1 yesterday, right?
Today they had to report.
They moved
back
in. They moved in. The extra guys moved in yesterday.
Yep. Yes, indeed. So
not extra guys, the later guys.
It's busy.
Yeah.
Up and rolling.
Getting after it.
Yeah, and I chilled, man. It was pretty. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very laid back. I don't get out much, so it's cool. Spend a lot of time outside.
That was probably.
I might have to invest in some lawn furniture.
Yeah.
Or not lawn furniture, deck furniture.
Yeah.
It's nice, but
for as much as you're out there, like, you need it to be comfortable.
And I probably will be spending more time out there, so I'd like to be comfortable.
Yeah.
It's the chairs. It's not the bench thing. It's like the chairs, because I like it a certain way, and I'm only about 6-7 feet from the TV.
Yeah.
And yeah.
You get those like Adirondack chairs?
Adirondack is in the baseball bats? No. Adirondack, that brand stems from wood, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's a type of wood.
Yeah, because bats they used to have Adirondack bats. But no, it's cool. It's probably a little fancier than wicker.
Okay, yeah.
It's interwoven. But I had to get this like booster thing from Menards the other day, and I looked at furniture. It's not an investment I want to make. I'd rather do the kitchen countertops than do that.
Deck furniture is ridiculous.
Yeah, you got to get it out of season.
Yeah. It's ridiculous how expensive it is.
Every time I always take a gander every time I go into one of the grocery stores.
Yeah.
You can always find.
You can get some deals there. Look at Costco.
Yeah, I just was in there.
Every once in a while they'll have like a great deal on.
So my algorithm has new Costco finds.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm kind of vibing with that.
Yeah. They have every once in a while you'll have like a great deal on some chairs or some deck furniture.
I like how they found a way to repurpose rotisserie chicken everywhere.
Yeah.
Because now they have the chicken noodle soup, which I would never buy, but apparently that's a hit. It's all the rave.
Listen, their food game's on point.
Caleb and Micah split a chicken bake the other day. I thought that was weird.
The chicken bakes are pretty good.
I've never had one, but it was a monster.
It's a lot of bread.
It was.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't be.
It is an absolute monster.
No, it's huge. It's huge.
So, allegedly it was. They could afford to do it because their week of workouts, and I mean they're working with some high end dudes, so and against good dudes.
Yeah,
so it's. I didn't mind.
They're burning the calories.
Yeah, yeah. I think he's down to like 198, maybe.
Yeah,
97.
What was he walking around at last year? Just over 200. 90. Right?
Well, he got to 200 like in season, and it was an okay 200.
Yeah,
he's super tapered now.
Yeah, like a cut up 197.
Yeah,
that's good.
So I think he wants to. I think 200's the goal.
Yeah.
Plus he gets bonuses for maintaining his weight.
Oh, there you go.
It's weird. Like, he got his iPad out and he's taking notes in pencil and paper. I'm like, you guys ain't past that? Can you type that in? He's like, well, that's the way JB wants it. And I was like, is everybody doing that? He said, we'll see. Yeah, so I don't know. Dude knows how to watch film, so it makes watching when I get him for an event, it makes it that much more enjoyable.
Yeah,
right, because we can kind of see the same things, and he's really, really smart, so that helps.
He seems like a bright kid. Like he picks stuff up super fast.
Yeah, he's funny. We were talking about because we started our workouts at Westside, and Michael will say something, and Caleb was like, well, are you playing against a mobile quarterback? Micah doesn't know yet. And then there's always some, well, if you're not playing against a mobile, it's just interesting how he can. I mean, it's kind of how he plays too. So
how was the baseball watching this weekend?
It was fantastic. Is Jacob sick of us? I worry.
It was the most baseball talk we've ever had in that chat by far. By far.
I worry about young Jacob.
I think he's okay because him and I had our little tangent there for a while yesterday, midday.
Yeah, I think it kind of helped him. I still can't tell if you guys like one another. No, you do, right?
Yeah. Okay. No, I love Jacob. Okay. We fight like brothers. That's how I put it.
Jacob's a trip.
Yeah. Also, so we're much better in person than on text. His text arguing style,
listen,
comes off a certain way.
We seldom ever. We got into it about. It was an NBA trade.
Yeah.
And I can't remember. It was value for a player or something like that. And he tried to hit me with.
It was Grayson Allen, wasn't it?
Yep.
Because I was on your side.
Yeah, and tried to hit me with
because I was like, he's kind of just a dude.
The going rate and the cost of doing business, and I was like, yeah, that doesn't make. I mean, I could just tell.
Yeah.
But I like it though, because it's a little. There's a little of me in there.
Yeah.
Like he's like facts over feelings.
Yeah.
Which only works about 50% of the time.
Yeah, because
that's my.
Inevitably, there's people involved in everything, so there's a variable there that we're kind of ignoring, but it's fine,
I'm growing in that area.
But it does help to have somebody with that perspective to kind of round out because I'm probably more of the feel, not like feelings, but feel.
Like you're quick to say that guy sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that's a gut thing. I'm just not any good. I don't care what the numbers are, not any good.
Or your coach may say, man, that guy sucks.
Yeah. Like I just get a feel and I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm going to roll with.
Isn't it weird too? We were talking about last week and the week before last, guys that had bounce back. We were talking about Napier and Ryan Day and guys like that. Who was in a worse spot a year ago versus now? Carlisle or Thibodeau?
Ooh.
Remember when Pacers fans wanted Carlisle out last year after Boston? Can't coach defense.
Yep.
This, that, and the other. Now they're in the finals. And now Knicks fans are down on Tibbs.
Still can't coach offense. I don't know what they thought was going to happen. Nothing new there.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The Giannis sweepstakes are going to be incredible.
I don't think the Knicks can get him.
Not unless you move. You'd
have to be a three-teamer.
You need a third team, and you have to move Towns. Which
you have to move Towns, and you probably have to move either Bridges or Anunoby also.
Yeah,
because
I could see
Anunoby. Sorry,
I could see Anunoby.
Yeah,
being on the move,
but
I don't think you want to move Bridges. That's just me.
I don't either. But you have to move one of those two guys. You
probably ought to play more
contract-wise. Yeah, He probably should be.
I could see them being upset about the rotation.
Yeah.
I could.
I know they're not the same guy. Like OG and Bridges are a little redundant.
Yeah.
A smidge skill set wise.
Yeah.
So it's like you could probably get away with getting rid of one of them. And if you get Giannis, you can get rid of Towns. It doesn't matter. Like you're fine.
Yeah.
But no, I think they would have to. I think Giannis would have to force his way to New York for them to be the team. They're not going to have the best offer.
Yeah. And then what else? I had a couple of buddies that had Scheffler at the Memorial that were tickled.
Mm-hmm.
What are you laughing at? Did you have Scheffler too?
I did not.
Didn't
have
What'd you do, Shane? We're remiss. We didn't check in with you, man. I missed you. How'd it go?
That was okay. I listened to some bad baseball over the weekend.
Yeah, we'll get to that here in a sec. That was
that was a little rough.
A little rough.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing with these rosters how you can't? And this isn't just a team-specific you root for thing. It's probably in general.
Mm-hmm.
With these roster sizes, carrying anywhere from 35 to 40,
mm-hmm.
You can't find 5 good pitchers.
Man, it's wild.
You can't find 5 good pitchers?
Almost no one can.
So, and I'd be curious to talk to some of the baseball heads about what it is, because I get it, shoving 96, 97, 98.
So
but that's it.
You know what I think it is?
And these guys, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad.
I think they put such an emphasis on velocity and finding guys with velocity that nobody recruits anybody.
They can't pitch.
Yeah, that nobody knows how to pitch.
They just can't pitch.
They recruit great arms. They don't recruit great pitchers.
Did you watch Crooks last night?
Yeah.
The guy can pitch.
Yeah.
That guy can pitch.
Yeah.
And I get it. He throws hard.
Yeah. But he knows
he's
how to
94. He's a 94, 95 guy.
Yeah, which is not, in today's day and age, not crazy.
Well, it's actually average in the SEC. Did you hear that stat?
Yeah.
I'm like, isn't the average Major League Basketball
like
94 mile an hour?
Yeah, 95, I think.
And that's the average velo in the SEC?
Yeah. But that's my point, though. That's why some of the, you're obviously, if you're getting the velo at a college and they're not in a minor league system somewhere, they probably don't know how to pitch yet.
Yeah, but half your roster is pitchers.
Yeah, and you can't find 5. Like you're talking about, most teams carry between 18 and 20 pitchers?
Yeah.
And you can't find 5 guys that you can trust in a high leverage situation.
That's wild.
And I get that's asking a lot, but a lot of teams don't have 3.
No,
we've been looking.
I know. If you've got a good Friday, Saturday guy, you can't get a good Sunday guy.
And you don't have. Maybe you've got a good closer, but you don't have anybody that can give you any sort of multi-inning middle relief.
It's fascinating.
It's wild.
And you saw, and
it's not just a Nebraska thing.
I get it. In these LM games, you're going to see a ton of crooked numbers.
Yeah.
But some of this was just like softball.
Yeah. I mean, listen, how do you give up 17 in an elimination game?
This is hard to say. It's really hard because I don't know. It's hard as a former athlete that knows what it takes. It didn't look like tremendous effort yesterday.
Yeah.
It just didn't. I just didn't get the sense like there was any. And it hurts because I don't throw that around.
Yeah, you really don't.
I don't throw that around lightly, but
you don't like to call guys. You don't like to question
the
guys'
competitive
toughness
spirit was off.
Didn't feel right.
And OU was coming off the shorty,
mm-hmm.
and I get it, right? And I said I didn't want to snap at Maddie, but it's not like. OU didn't come out spry. They had a bunch of ground balls early.
Mm-hmm.
Nebraska couldn't field it.
Couldn't, yeah. That's controllable stuff.
Now,
should be controllable
Oklahoma is clearly in an offensive zone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Clearly in an offensive zone. I mean, they are swinging that thing.
But you can't help them out, and then you can't, the fact that Nebraska couldn't find anybody that could give them any trouble was really tough. And I know we come from very different backgrounds competitively. So sometimes I'll say stuff like this and you want to slap me, and that's fine.
No, violence is not the answer anymore.
Metaphorically slap me.
Yeah.
That's
No, you're exactly right.
Thanks, Coach, it sort of felt like winning the Big Ten tournament was the accomplishment for this Nebraska team.
See, I don't think so. I'm not gonna hold you over that, but I don't think so.
Okay.
I think now that more people are watching college baseball, I've said this since they've gone to this format.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really tough championship to win.
It is.
The schedule is not conducive to like getting the best teams.
It's also very different than the schedule during the regular season.
It's teams that have it's not even depth. It's like it kind of is depth, but it's certainly not. It doesn't lend it's the one postseason that's so dramatically different from the regular season. How
like you can build a team that's really good in the regular season and it doesn't translate.
Or even like a 3-game set.
Yeah. Well, and we saw 1 and 2 go down, didn't we? The top seeds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You may see a few more Natty's national seeds drop today.
But you've got like especially the regionals, right? Super regionals are a 3-game
It's hard
set,
to win, man.
so it's more understandable there. Then the College World Series gets a little wonky again with some of the way the schedule works out there. But especially the regionals, if you drop a game, like you're in a lot of trouble, like in a hurry, because you can end up playing 5 games, right? You can end up playing 5 games in 3 days.
Yeah.
If you go through the losers bracket and get back to the championship games, that's crazy.
It's wild.
That doesn't happen any other time
And
in
then
baseball. Really.
supers are this weekend.
Yeah, 4 days later, right?
It's a tough team championship to win. I mean, what in basketball you got to win 6.
Yeah.
Football you got to win 4.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Or 3 if you get the bye.
Yeah, I don't understand the scheduling.
And at least in football, the pacing of the games is right still, right? Like you get the normal breaks. Basketball gets a little wonky playing every other day, which isn't super common, but it's not crazy. But you don't have this.
Are you like LeBron and you want, 3-4 weeks off between the regular season and playoffs?
No, you don't typically play Friday, Sunday in your regular season in college basketball. A couple times a year you will. Exemption tournaments, obviously the conference tournaments, but it's not your super common schedule. But it's much closer to normal than baseball is because baseball is just this whole other thing. Baseball, you're almost going back to your weird Legion days where you're just like, all right, everybody's in, let's go. It's a very strange format. But it does produce entertaining results. I don't know if it produces the best ones.
It's tough.
Yeah.
And
I mean, Creighton saw the fuzzy end of that popsicle as well.
Yeah. Boy, they battled though, didn't they?
They did. Yeah.
They
Arkansas's really good.
They are.
Arkansas's really good. They always are, but they're really good.
I'm somehow hoping for an Arkansas UNC final.
Oh, okay.
Really good pitching, timely hitting. Although Carolina's starting to hit it pretty well.
Big Dave Van Horn guy?
I like him. I don't love him.
Okay. I didn't know if there was a lasting.
No, we've got a
good
relationship. DVH isn't really letting anybody in there though.
Yeah.
I mean,
arm's length.
Oh yeah, you get the Walter Payton stiff arm,
which is funny because that's what I would assume Ed Service is like. But you guys are pretty close.
Yeah, but I've been at it longer.
Sure.
And plus,
he's around still. That helps.
And so the thing about Coach Service and I is, we had the Coach Olson connection.
Yeah.
Early. So I'm just even though I'm not even a little kid, I'm a young guy. Just kind of. I don't know. I mean, I'm overseeing a nonprofit for kiddos. I'm trying to figure it out, and he just was cool.
Yeah.
Coach Olson was that dude.
Yeah.
And so with Coach Service, a lot of times we don't even talk about baseball. This is something else.
Yeah.
And I was shocked though. Even at the funeral. They're going down a procession. I told you this last week or week before last. Like he stopped to give me a hug, which probably 20 years, not 20, probably, 17, 18 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, which makes sense, right? Because you build that stuff over time.
Yeah,
but even the hug,
mm-hmm.
And so I watch these guys, and it's a brutal sport. I thought of you last night. I didn't send a text because. First time and maybe I can remember. My phone got down to 6%.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I'm a guy typically that likes that thing above 30.
Yeah,
all
I'm a
the time.
perpetual charger.
And but I can't fast charge it. So I have to put it on the deal, which is in my room. But anyway, we saw was it KP? One of our baseball guys was talking about it's just a hard sport. It's a ridiculously hard sport. And we saw with Easton Carmichael last night, if that check swing is called a strike, he's down 1-2 and Horton is dealing. Instead, it's a pretty bad call.
Yeah.
Gets the strike the next pitch. But instead of it being 1-2, it's 2-1, becomes a hitter's count. He gets the hit with the bases loaded. And he didn't break it open, but that gave them the lead. Right? I mean, I think it was weird, too, because Carmichael came into that thing like 0-9.
Yeah.
With bases loaded. He had 2 hits last night with the bases loaded. But that guy rakes.
That's baseball, though, right?
Isn't he something?
Yeah.
Like that guy.
I think it was Suits. We were talking to Suits, and he was talking about, like, because we were asking about the Nebraska.
Kevin. It was Kevin. It was
the
Kevin.
Michigan State thing, right?
It was Kevin. What do you think happens if Walsh fields that initial comebacker?
I don't know.
I'm talking about the very first at bat of the game.
No, I know.
It's not. It's like, I mean, he's casual. Like, what if he fields that comebacker?
I have a hard time. It's probably closer. Like, it probably doesn't get away from him as fast.
He called this the best mineral water?
I just don't think they had it yesterday.
He fibbed.
What do we?
Ridiculous.
Who'd you get a wreck from?
My guy at Elite Nutrition.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Not feeling it?
No, you know what, though? I think he gave it to me as kind of like a little kid head pat, like on my way out the door.
Like, here you go.
Yeah, kind of. Because he gave me these protein bars, and I think he knew it was going to be tough sledding. And he also knows I'm probably eating that thing in the car.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, man. It was like a little butt tap, head pat. I'm going to have to get
good on you.
Yeah. But damn.
Well, maybe.
I don't know. Maybe my ice screwed it up. That's it's so hard.
I don't think you can blame it on the ice, man.
And you know what else I thought of you this weekend?
What's that?
As these guys get ready to go home, there's a couple teams I told you. I'm still pissed about Northeastern. Same thing with a check swing. Very next, within the next 3 pitches, guy from Mississippi State leaves the yard. I'm like, damn it!
Yeah.
But not that loud. It's more like, dang it.
Shoot.
I text. I'm not even name dropping. I was just talking about how the game was going with a guy down at Nebraska. I'm like, fudge, it's 11:57, man. It's almost noon. This thing has me wanting to just pour tequila on the rocks and go sit back out on the
Pop
deck.
a drink.
But I didn't. He's like, I just landed. I don't even know what's going on. I'm like 3-0 with 300 runs. They kicked it around. I'm like, fudge. So there was Northeastern and Shane. You have my. I thought of you. I want to get your thoughts.
Okay.
Because I know how you love when coaches go in on media. It's your favorite.
It is.
I know you. I mean, you're Mr. Shoot 'em straight. One minute you like Mick Cronin, the next minute you hate Rick Pitino.
Different things.
I gotta.
Different things. We've talked about this.
I can't get you.
Nope.
Are you sure?
100%.
All right. Let's go back to Saturday night.
Okay. Set the scene for me.
Okay. Vanderbilt is 0 of 9 with runners in scoring position.
That's bad.
Coming in with taking an L. Okay. Just not hitting the ball very well. Now keep in mind, this team got the #1 overall national seed. I told you it was the second half of their season.
Kind of ran through the
I liked
SEC
them,
tournament.
didn't love them because they sleptwalked, but they got hot.
Yeah.
And they bunny hopped some teams.
Yeah.
Who maybe could have made the case for a 1. So having said that, and I know he's tough. Shane and I have had him on. You have to ask. He's pretty no nonsense. So this is Coach Corbin on Saturday night. Now keep in mind they got upset last night again, and were equally as abysmal until the 9th inning with runners in scoring position. Okay, This was Coach Corbin on Saturday night. Shano? Oh, what is going on? That's not very good audio.
It is not.
All right, we got to fix that. We got to really fix that audio. Is there a better way to get that to you? What is wrong with you, man?
There's nothing wrong with me. I'm good. It's probably just had a phase.
Out of phase. You that's like, do you know what that's the equivalent of?
What's that?
I was gonna be really inappropriate, but I'll just keep it to food. That's like thinking you're gonna get a nice succulent bite of something that you prepared, and you put it in your mouth, and it's like, God, that looked a lot better than it tasted.
Been there.
Like, what's going on with in phase, out of phase, Shane?
We'll see if our guy can get it for us.
Is that like in sync?
In sync. Is that the Lachey dude?
No, it's Justin Timberlake.
Oh, I should have known that.
Yeah, that's a miss. It's okay.
Ryan Phillippe?
That's an actor.
He looks like Justin Timberlake.
A little. They had the same hair in the 90s.
Yeah. I
like the little like ramen hair.
He was on a show that I liked with Julia Lewis, and he was some weird neighbor dude. And I was like, God, Timberlake can act.
He's really not bad.
But it wasn't Justin Timberlake.
It was Ryan Phillippe.
Yes.
Timberlake's not a bad actor. For a musician, he's okay.
God, what was the name of that show? It was sneaky good.
Was it a show or?
Google Juliette Lewis.
Okay.
And Ryan he's got a couple of L's and a couple of P's and an E in there.
We'll get it.
Was it Lies We Told? Lies?
Secrets and Lies.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Secrets and Lies.
I think it was ABC. I watched that. But anyway, somebody's efforting that for us. I'm gonna come back to that.
ABC, that's correct.
ABC?
Yeah.
I asked, so we'll see what happens.
How fast you think we can turn that thing around? I want to level of the couple of teams that we said we weren't surprised about.
Yeah.
And I was a little upset, but I got the injuries. But I was like, why do people keep talking to me about Florida?
Yeah, you weren't on Florida.
They're working on it.
They weren't playing well.
Yeah, you were not. You were not on Florida.
And plus they were like hurt.
Yeah.
Right? Pretty banged up. Georgia, I told you, was
You were not excited about Georgia. You weren't excited.
Georgia can't pitch.
Yeah, that's a problem, especially in regionals. That's a problem.
You know, and we'll see what happens with Tennessee. But you know, I'm all out.
I know you're not in on Tennessee.
Well, their variance is so high.
Yeah. Like you don't know what you're going to get on any given day.
Yeah, you can run rule and get run ruled, but I don't know, man. I need to pick the brains. We got Kendall coming up today, right?
9:00. Yep. How about Texas?
KP nailed that. Now KP is a little shaky.
I would say I would like to take a minute here,
but he nailed Texas. He's out, and I love his voice too, right? Texas is upset alert in their own region. I was like, wow.
I just want to sit here for a second and defend the host of the Tallahassee Regional, who did just fine with apparently the worst path out of their own region.
It was, on paper, it was kind of sucky.
It was, but they navigated pretty seamlessly.
They handled business.
They did.
They handled business.
Proud of them.
And
I almost wore the Florida State gear today, but I was like, you know what? Too much. I'm doing too much. Didn't want to.
You have actual Florida State gear?
Yeah. A couple things. I have a couple pieces. You got North Carolina gear, don't you?
I don't wear it.
Okay, well, I didn't wear it either.
Although,
did you get some from this weekend?
No, nobody's come through yet. I didn't have the listen. You think I was asking Benny Mac?
Not last night.
And listen, my man can cuss.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I could imagine
how that was going.
Yes. Radio, you got to fill in baseball.
Yeah, especially when it's like
and
that.
It's like 10-0. And Caleb's looking at me at the breakfast table. He's like, oh, no. I was like, I want to turn it. He's like, Dad, you're not a quitter. I was like, I know. That's 90% of the problem. Oh, it was tough.
Dude, I can't imagine being – because, like, basketball, there's always an end in sight, right? Like, there's a clock. You're going to run out at the same time no matter what happens. Yep. With baseball, it could it's indefinite. Yeah. Your suffering is indefinite. And if you're a play-by-play guy in that situation, like I can only imagine. I've never called a baseball game. I can only imagine the just utter lack of wanting to be there anymore if you're betting.
I caught a lot of breaks when I was doing the broadcast with Westwood One and JB for the CWS. We had to fill some time during rain, but I mean it helps because it's Bish.
Yeah,
number one.
Yeah.
But just fortunate. We didn't have to really sit through. I mean, we had a rocker game, Vanderbilt, where
Kamar.
Yeah, where we didn't have barely any time to say anything.
Indian guy, by the way.
Because is he?
He's part Indian, yeah.
Oh, nice. Good for him.
His mom, I think.
Where'd the size come from?
His dad.
Just a regular brother?
I think so.
Yeah, because he played at Auburn. He's a big dude.
Pretty big guy.
Dang, Trace got down like that?
I think so. That's where Kamar comes from. I'm almost positive.
Okay, Trace.
We're going to double check.
Yeah, do that. I know it was going down there, going down like that.
That's where the Kumar comes from.
Well, I get the name.
I'm just saying.
Oh. Well, I have some. I don't know about that. You're making it seem like it's like duh, but there are some folks with. I mean, where does Hennessy come from? And
not
okay. So let's not just be that linear.
Doesn't that come from the store?
His maternal grandparents immigrated to the U.S. from India. So his mom's parents. So his mom's Indian.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man, trying to lead me down the primrose path.
I'm just saying, Kumar is an Indian name.
Well, I'm well aware.
You saw Herald and Kumar? You just assume?
Is that the White Castle one?
Yeah.
No, we almost got through a segment without a race reference.
Almost never.
Damn it. But yeah, so that went super quick.
Yeah.
So I've been on the other end of that, but I mean, some of these games, who got 20-pieced? It was like 20-2.
Oh, yeah. Oh shoot, what was that? I saw that come. I wasn't watching. I saw it come across the scoreboard.
What are you talking about? Because a lot of these guys that are on those broadcasts don't cover those teams.
Yeah. I think you just got to go into story mode. I don't know what else you do there.
Shoot, I was fortunate sometimes that Damon Hughes was familiar with teams in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
He's driving me nuts.
The other problem is a lot of times you don't know the guy you're doing the call with.
Yeah.
In these situations, like if you're on ESPN or SEC Network or whatever, maybe you know him a little bit, but like you and Bishop obviously had like a long-standing relationship, so that's a lot easier.
He's easy.
Yeah, and he's obviously really good at what he does, so he makes life easy on his broadcast partners too. But like if you're there, you're with a guy you probably don't know that well. You're in some 20-2 game with two teams that you don't really know that well. I guess you just start telling stories about college baseball. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, how was Maddie texting yesterday during Creighton and North Dakota State?
Well,
you could barely breathe.
Yeah.
I mean, it was always something.
I mean, we had a little bit of time where it was 10-3 and he could like exhale. And then North Dakota State's like, nah, we're going to mess this thing up.
Did you oh, there's my man, Shane. There's the GOAT, LESS at the door.
Is it double S?
No.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't think so.
What's that stud doing? This guy's down about 222 pounds.
I mean, it looks great. It looks fantastic.
Listen, you get any more fit, we're not going to let you come in here. Goodness gracious. Yeah, that's our man. Should we give a shout out to the semen business? It sounds a little weird without context. Thank you, buddy. You're a good man. Thank you.
You're the man.
The guy's goated.
Yeah, we love that guy.
I wonder what's in the pastry box. It's kind of greasy. I don't think I can eat it.
What's in the box?
Dude, that show was off.
It's dark.
That is a beautiful movie.
It's a great movie.
That's a dumb adjective. I don't mean it like
that.
It's a fantastic.
It's a very well made movie. Yeah. I think that's what you mean by beautiful.
Seven
right?
is incredible.
Incredibly well made, well acted, like the whole thing. I get it. It's one of those movies that like I like that I'm never gonna watch again because it's just so dark.
Probably watched it 30 times.
That makes sense.
All right, that sounds. I'm just not having a good last 48 seconds. But let me explain.
You and Shane.
Let me explain.
No, I'm having a good day.
Each time.
And I got the audio. It's loading now. So.
Each time I watched
Should be soon.
Yeah.
I tried to figure out if there was any telltale sign.
Oh, okay. So you're trying to solve it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all.
I mean, that makes sense.
That's all.
It's a
and some of it was shot like in it was like in the dark.
Yeah.
You know, the fat dude that overindulged and, you know, chased him in the like. It was kind of just. It looked dark.
Yeah, they shot
screen.
it in a certain way.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a really well made movie.
You know, I was 50 years old when actually last night I figured out where Commodus, why he pimped Lucius into giving him the information in Gladiator. As 1,000 times when I've seen Gladiator, I never knew where the actual leak came from to thwart Maximus's plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. He went from laying on her shoulder in bed to, I'm going to kill your son if you don't do it the way I want to. And I was like, let me hit rewind again. I got to get the details.
Yep.
I've seen that. That's, again, another Gladiator I've seen.
Oh, I've seen that movie a million times.
226 times.
Yeah. Yeah.
That and The Equalizer. And 7. It's about the only murder movie. I mean, 7 was legit. Shane, do you want to take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break real quick. Let's come
and
back.
see what's in the bag.
I'm just
and the 2 boxes. I'm telling you, I see rolls on that box.
I know. I just want to see what the treats are.
And I don't know who I'm going to give some of those away to.
Right here, this guy.
No, you already eat like a 4-year-old. You have Pop-Tart. Are those little mini?
Yeah,
muffins?
they're little mini muffins. They're little bites.
Oh my God, Zoe eats those.
They're good.
How old are you?
37.
Boy, you are incredible. You are incredible. What do you think they were talking about during the Arizona Cal Poly game when it's like 14-0?
Probably little bites.
Little Debbie something.
So you like little mini muffins for breakfast? Nah.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
What about Pop-Tarts? I went back to the place with homemade Pop-Tarts, by the way. Still slaps.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I was very happy with it.
We need to talk about how drunk Kentucky and West Virginia was, too. Literally.
We'll be back. More Hurrdat Sports Live coming up next.
You've brought up your family multiple times. How has being a grandfather changed you as a person and maybe as a coach, too?
Well, it definitely changed me as a coach because, you know, Merritt Beeson made a comment to me about a year ago, like, you know, you just need to pretend we're Madden, your granddaughter. If you just treat us like that, well, everything will be great. And that really hit me. And and again, probably part of this is, you know, when you're coaching, you miss out on a lot of what your kids are doing, and your wife has to kind of manage all that. And Madden's starting to get into a lot of things right now, and I just kind of feel like I want to be a part of that and be close to that and be around that and support Lauren. So helping out with babysitting, and Madden's at an age now she wants to hang out with me. So I'm you know, we play volleyball. Of course, I'm the coach, and my wife's Harper, and she's Merritt, and we got a softball. We go at it.
I love it. When you look at the landscape of college wrestling, how much growth have you seen from the first day you stepped on this campus to right now in terms of the fans, the attention, the TV deals?
Yeah, I think, you know, our crowds have got really much bigger the last, you know, 4 or 5 years. But, you know, I think we've always had exciting guys. Now we have a team full of guys that are really exciting to watch, and they're going to fight to the death. And we have 6 All-Americans coming back next year. So come on, Husker fans. We want to pack that Devaney every time. And I think, you know, Terry Pettit and John Cook have set that ladder for women's volleyball. And I think, you know, we can be that next sport to pack the Bob Devaney and really put people on their feet. And, you know, we're starting a student section next year, so really challenging our students out there.
course, you went to Elkhorn South. You were a Maverick at UNO. I mean, what more could you ask for to be right here in this moment representing really all of Omaha, just here at the Oscars?
Yeah, there's a lot of better athletes than me out here in this crowd tonight. I'm not nominated for my athletic abilities, and that's totally fine with me. I love covering all these amazing women and men from where I grew up. I mean, this is what I've dreamed of, and it's incredible.
Moving on from with Hurrdat Sports, you've also worked with CBS Sports a little bit too. So can you tell us a little bit about branching out even further than just the Omaha area? Because you gained a little bit more repetition and a little bit more notoriety than getting that regional stuff as well.
Yeah, I think it all starts local, what I do here, and then moving up to national coverage is absolutely amazing. And just getting to put my name out there, and the fact that anybody around the United States can flip on a TV and see me is a pretty crazy thought. Don't know how I got here sometimes, but a lot of hard work, a lot of people along the way that have helped me. But yeah, the idea is for me to keep branching out, go from these regional and local coverage to as much national as I can do, and hopefully bringing our local coverage nationally as well.
A successful financial future is built one coin at a time. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned saver, we've got the financial resources and team of experts who will be with you every step of the way. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DB. I'm Ravi, Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill, reminding you keep those eyes focused and straight ahead. Don't get distracted while you're driving. You've got one job, that is to drive. This message from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. DB.
Yo.
Did we get the audio figured out?
I'm waiting on Shane to give me the go ahead.
No, it's
Uncle Rico's working on it. It's at Vandy RCR at Vandy Recruits. Like it's not. It took me all of.
But it's probably
what?
It's probably the same audio, so it's probably going to be messed up everywhere.
Really?
Yeah, but I mean, I'll look at that.
So why can a phone play it or a computer, but you can't?
That's a great question, Damon.
Yeah,
I don't have the answer to that.
I don't believe a word of what you're saying.
Well,
to be honest. I mean, maybe Uncle Rico can figure it out.
He sent me another one, and that one didn't work either, but I'll keep trying it.
He's out.
He's not out. He's my guy.
He's out.
He's my guy.
I mean, gosh, I'm
Kick
tempted
him out
to
of the
just
club.
put my microphone up to the goddamn computer.
Kick him out of the club.
It plays it just fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I heard it on yours.
The free world is hurting. But apparently there's something magical that happens with what we do.
You know what they say.
What's that?
This is where the magic happens.
I mean, we're out here, right?
Apparently, this is not where the magic happens.
Yeah.
At least over on this side.
Coming up at 8 o'clock, as always, we're going to talk to Sam McKewon from the Omaha World Herald. At 9, as we mentioned earlier, we're going to talk to our friend Kendall Rogers from D1 Baseball, see what he's thought about all the goings-on.
Yeah, I'll be curious to get his thoughts on what's going on at A&M.
Yeah. I'm going to try and...
Oh, I know you're going to ask.
And
let's be professional and not go the Trevor route.
No, it's a tough spot right now. It's a tough spot.
It is. Did you by any chance see Tennessee UCLA softball?
Yes. Yeah.
What if UCLA wins that game?
Yeah.
Is that played under protest? And what is Article G?
I have no idea.
I like how he threw that in at the very.
Article G.
I'm like, G. Like, all I could think of every time I hear that is just G, baby. With little G baby in the movie before he died.
I was just
Keanu Reeves. What was the name of that baseball movie?
Bad News Bears. Hardball.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so. I love it when you call me Big Pop.
I think it's Hardball.
Yeah, my man.
Didn't he do a Bad News Bears remake too? Or no, that was Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah, which was not as funny, but still funny.
Hardball was the Keanu Reeves movie.
Yeah.
Not
Kanunu.
I don't think that's how it's pronounced.
Come along. That was a long way from John Wick.
Well, he
and now that thing is everywhere.
Yeah, there's the spinoff now.
Yeah.
Ballerina.
Yeah, it is. It's not flooding my timeline, but it's screwing up my algorithm.
There are a lot of there's a lot of commercials for Ballerina during the baseball this weekend. It's on every commercial.
Hey,
break.
did you like the commercial break and then with nothing?
Because
they can't really fill the inventory with all those.
No,
games,
on the like the ESPN Plus platform. Yeah, I don't mind it. I'm used to it because that's how it used to be with MLB TV.
Yeah.
Like back in the day with MLB TV, it was just blank screen, and so
we'll be back.
Yeah, it was just like the MLB TV logo because I would start doing MLB TV in like 2006, so like it is. They're just like boom, here you go.
How many new subscribers do you think ESPN Plus got?
I don't know. I think a lot of people just have it and don't realize it because they get like the Hulu Disney Plus bundle.
Yeah, but you know what's funny though is if there's I need to ask Josh or somebody. It shouldn't be this hard, but like something about if you're an original subscriber and you try to get it through Disney, you have to be careful that you're not doing it twice.
Yeah, you have to like unsubscribe from one and then
is that what it is?
It is because I've done that. So I've been an ESPN Plus subscriber before they even had like streaming options.
Yeah.
Just for the other extra stuff on the website and whatever. But so I had to cancel that one and then re-sign up for the bundle to get the bundle price. But I was going to be signed up anyway. But I think a lot of people just have the bundle because it's cheaper. And even if just for two of them, it's cheaper. And then they're just like, oh, I've got ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
It's just kind of an add-on to boost subscription numbers.
I think it's a little tricky. I had to get it on my. So I didn't download the app on the TV outside. Like I just used the little QR code.
Oh yeah,
and it logged me in automatically. Otherwise, I might have been out there all day.
Oh yeah, though, being able to do the QR code instead of having to like do the thing on your remote is a game changer.
I literally would have been out there all day.
It takes forever.
But anyway, with Article G, baby, if UCLA actually wins that game, Tennessee's got to be livid.
I'm sure, yeah.
And how is it not reviewable whether you hit home plate or not? Because play had stopped or it was.
It seems like it seems like a very easy thing to be reviewable, right? Like that's one of the most frustrating things about all challenges, review, anything in every sport is what is and isn't reviewable. Like that's a no-brainer. Do you touch a plate or not? Like that's
and
it has to be reviewable.
We saw if you watch any softball this weekend, it was review.
Oh, all the
heavy.
Time. All the time.
It's like, hey, got a challenge, going to review.
You know who's got reviews figured out, though?
Tennis.
Tennis does, except for freaking French Open. Thanks a lot, guys. Losers. How do you not have – it's a major. Like, get your lines automatic. What are we doing? You're telling me that, like, oh, there's a mark on the clay. I can tell where it went out. No, you can't. People are running over that stuff. It's so dumb. Anyway, sorry. Minor League Baseball has their reviews on lock. Like
probably need to sample it.
They come in. So I just went Wednesday. That's the only reason I know. And I'm glad I did because apparently Jack's gone anyway. So it was nice to have him for that week. I'm sure Marty's thrilled.
So is he starting in St. Louis?
June 10th.
Why not St. Louis?
So June 10th might be the first time he's in Kansas City. So
okay, because they're in St. Louis.
Yeah, he's probably going straight to St. Louis, I would guess.
Right?
I saw the date.
That's their next series.
I saw the date June 10th, but that might be his Kansas City debut.
You're over here messing with me now.
But no, the minor league baseball, because you can challenge ball strikes now, right? And so they literally just do and it's automatic. It's like tennis where it happens so fast.
You see away from the Rays get the gate for the head tap.
Oh, yeah. And he lost it.
He tried to be subtle.
It was incredible. Also, umpires are the most fragile ego people on the planet.
He ran.
Did you see Link Jarrett get ran yesterday?
Yes.
That was wild.
It was uncalled for.
It was entirely uncalled for because the home plate umpire screwed the pooch on the check swing call and then didn't even appeal. He's just like, no, I got this. And it's like he went like this. Like, I don't know where you really – like, that's not close, bud.
Yeah.
And then doesn't appeal, doesn't ask for help, just says, nope, he's out. That's the inning. And then the Mississippi State pitcher just goes full Verzal on the Florida State guy.
Is that a thing now?
I mean, I don't know what else to call it. That's the first guy that drops a lot of F-bombs in my mind. But, like, tells him where he can stick it, basically, as he's like.
He actually did have a couple of very not nice texts about
did he?
An inning and a third into yesterday's game. And he and I typically don't exchange texts during baseball.
Yeah.
Well, it's just hard. I mean, that's family. Like,
yeah,
nobody wants
close
to hear that.
Yeah, it's too
You know
close.
what I mean? So I just keep it pushing.
Yeah.
You guys want to try this audio?
Yeah,
I would love to.
You want me to reset it?
You can reset it, and if it doesn't work, I'd love to give Rico's response to it. But it should work. I'm looking at it right now. I have faith that it's going to work.
Rico's reputation at his early, young, ripe age and the greenness in which he's been with this company is completely on the line. He can go from goat to get, and I mean the frick, in milliseconds.
He can go from the goat to just goat.
Just goating, gone. Shane, play the clip.
I don't give a rat's ass about a second game. All I care about is Wright State. That's it.
But, Tim, what was the issue with the offense today?
No, we didn't score enough runs. Issue?
Yeah,
Human?
It was so different from the last couple weeks.
You play playoff baseball, Aria? I mean, it's tough pitching on both sides. I mean, we're pitching hard. They're pitching hard. Two good teams. You realize that, right? These are good pitchers on the mound. These are battles. We just didn't win the battle. Don't go searching for like a lot of ancillary bullshit. It's just we didn't get the hit.
Is that necessary?
No, it's not.
Like I heard that and I was like,
and you know what I hate? This is. Sometimes media members suck. I get that. Sometimes they deserve to have their hand slapped a little bit. That was not one of those situations. Like, bring it up, Aria. Did you play playoff baseball? No. Does that mean she didn't have a valid question, Tim? No. Here's the problem, right? Is he wants us to believe that after he just ran roughshod through the SEC, which how fast is their average velocity, by the way?
94.
94, 95. Is that the average velocity at Wright State?
Wow.
Is it?
No.
Okay, so it's not, right?
No.
So the pitching in the SEC tournament probably better than Wright State pitching. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Is that a fair assumption to make? I know Wright State's a good baseball team, but like the pitching in the SEC is probably better.
Clearly.
Is that a reasonable?
It's fair.
Okay, so it's a reasonable question to be like, hey, you just like mollywopped. Oh, you don't like that one. You just ramshackled the SEC pitching.
I've never even heard of that.
I don't either. I think I just made it up. You just ran through SEC pitching for a week and through the second half of the season. But Wright State comes and you're like, oh, it's too much. The pitching's really good. Like, that's what we're supposed to believe, Tim? That's what you're telling me?
I just the question about did you you didn't have to like don't bully her,
and
right?
Yes, it is being a bully. And here's the thing is it pisses me off so much because reporters are asking questions because they want to understand better and they want their readers or listeners or followers or whoever to understand
And listen
better.
to her try to explain what she meant, and he still wouldn't let her off the hook.
No, we didn't score enough runs. Issue?
Yeah,
Human?
It was so different from the last couple weeks.
You play playoff baseball, Aria?
Like it was different from the last couple weeks, Tim. Quit being a dick. Herb not having played baseball is not relevant to the conversation. He's being a bully there to try and discredit her question, which was a real question and a fair question. And here's the thing that really makes me mad. Like as a coach, as a Division I coach, yes, you probably understand the game better than the reporter asking the question. That's why they're asking you the question.
Because they're the expert.
Impart the knowledge that you have. Don't just be a dick about it. Like, do they not realize, does Tim Corbin not realize that his 7-figure Vandy salary only exists because people want to watch and hear about and win and see college baseball? Mm-hmm. How do they part of experience that? The media is part of that equation. This is a symbiotic relationship. It has to be, even though you hate each other.
Like a lot of ancillary bullshit.
Like
a lot of
totally unnecessary. Like, you ran through the SEC, and you're trying to tell me now that the pitching at Wright State's too good. It's like, oh, there's really good pitchers. There's really good pitchers in the SEC last week too, Tim. And the bats were fine. What happened? That's a fair question.
It's not ancillary BS.
No, it's not.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. Like, if you're a coach, you can either be the expert and impart the information when somebody asks a valid question, which she did, or you can acknowledge, oh, maybe you know more than me. I don't have an answer to that question.
So there were probably 3 or 4 mini meltdowns over this weekend by baseball coaches.
Babies.
One was actually, I think, legit, just given O'Sullivan's history.
Oh, yeah.
But
the Coastal guy?
I don't know exactly what O'Sullivan did, so I don't want to, like, double down. Coaches just usually aren't like that. And it's trickled into the sportsmanship. Mm-hmm. We've seen sportsmanship in college baseball get cracked down on the last 2 years. Man, these coaches are not playing around. A lot of it starts with weird modeled behavior.
Yeah, the Coastal coach, I think, probably had a legitimate beef because he was kind of defending his people. So I'll ride with that. Don't go bully reporters. What are you doing? That's a real question.
It's a lot of ancillary BS.
They're not asking a bad question. That's a real question.
Wow.
Let them ask it. And if you don't want to ask it,
ancillary bullshit.
If you don't want to answer real questions, go coach somewhere where no one cares. LSU Shreveport just went 59-0 in NAI, and nobody cares. Nobody asked him any questions. Why don't you go coach there? Have fun.
Nice pull.
Thank you. Sam McKewon coming up next.
Aspirations can drive us. Sometimes a simple gesture is what fuels the pursuit of a dream. When it's time to make your dream a reality, we are here to help. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
I mean, obviously you've been to Nebraska multiple times and know what they're about. Yeah. You said LSU, Florida State; those are obviously important schools. Notre Dame just offered. That's a newer offer for you, right?
Yeah, Notre Dame. I definitely want to get up there. They invited me to this camp, but I'm gonna probably get to the next one. Yeah, I definitely want to get up there.
How do you handle kind of the, I guess, not pressure, but the notoriety of, hey, you're a second-ranked player in your position as safety in the country and in your class, and have all these offers and that? How do you handle that? How do you manage it?
I kind of try not to listen to what people say. I just try to go out there and do the best I can do on the field. Try to make as many plays as I can to solidify why I am where I'm at.
Yeah. Okay. One thing I want to clear up though, because you're listed at 6'1" ish and 170. That's not that you're taller than 6'1" because I'm looking at you. So where are we at physically right now? What are those measurements?
I would think it's about like 6'2" now, 6'3", 1. We're getting almost to 180 now. We're like 175-ish. So we're hopefully by season I want to get to 180, and that'll be good for me.
You got to get that track weight back.
Exactly.
Like after losing that, right?
Now I was going to be running a lot this year. So, I mean, I had to get back. Now we're getting back to lifting. And I can't wait to start lifting again and, like, really getting that weight again.
Yeah. I guess, back to the recruitment question. Your brother goes to Nebraska. How much of a pull is that for you?
That's a big pull because, I mean, me and Donnie grew up playing for the same organizations our whole life. And then it's like we're teammates our whole life. So it'd be amazing to play with them and just, like, be with them again.
But that won't be the end-all, be-all for you.
No, it won't, because I mean, there's still other decisions like that will make it, because then I would already commit by now. But so it's like I'm still thinking about, okay, yeah, I can play with him, but also there's other things that I don't know if I want to go to or not. So it's just all gonna be a decision.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live. Here is the sports editor for the Omaha World Herald, Sam McKewon.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Sam McKewon.
We're gonna throw the ball, and you just stand back there and throw it where you want to go. And that kind of thing.
Sam McKewon.
Are you guys going? Sure.
Now, Sam McKewon.
Kicking off hour number 2 here on Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We're joined now by Sam McKewon from the Omaha World Herald. Sam, how are you this morning?
Good, guys. How are you?
We are hanging in there. We've got one more hot day. You getting it in Lincoln too? You're only 38 minutes away from me. We touching 90 in Lincoln. Is that the forecast?
Yeah, loving it.
All right.
Love it.
No,
we need the heat.
No, Sam. No. We're gonna get some rain tomorrow. We're gonna be in mid 60s. Us grass guys are gonna keep our grass green, and then
we'll touch some grass.
I did that last week, buddy. And then we get 70. Sam, not too soon. All in moderation, Sammy Mac. All in moderation.
That's right. Yeah, we'll get back to the heat. Damon, do you edge your yards? Like, do you like edge it like around the sidewalk?
Yes, it is. It is nicely edged.
Oh, it's pristine. That's great. That's awesome.
I know you get a kick out of that. I mean, I'm OCD. It's not like you don't know this.
So you've got many years to go in the broadcasting field. But
I hope so.
When you decide, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go work at a golf course, man. You will love it. Love it.
There's a couple of cool guys around here that do that I actually have an affinity for. I think you might be onto something, Sam. Maybe that's why I like Jim so much.
I used to work at him when I was a kid, and so I worked at one where I was helped with the range. But then I worked on one where I worked at the course, and I just mowed greens and ripped bunkers and at Indian Creek back not long after it opened. And man,
I love their grounds crew. I love Jim. He is
Jim, right? You love Jim.
He's that's like my dude.
Yeah. I'm just and then my dad, when he retired, he worked at Champions.
Yeah.
On 132nd or whatever it is. And he did that for a long time. And I'm just telling you, you get out, you're out there on a mower and you're just it's you and the fairway and the sky and
music. I mean, that's great. I don't have to think. No solving world's problems. I'm not responsible for feelings. I'm cool.
Yeah, and you're you get up early.
Yep.
So, you're already on an early schedule.
Yep.
When you work at a golf course, you're getting up at 5 or 6. So
do they hire old retired guys? I'm doing that. That's it. Thank you, Sam. Because I know I'm not going to have anything to spend when I get older. So I'll probably retire when I'm I wonder if I'll still be able to see, though. That's a problem. So maybe 80. I'll get readers.
I mean, if you ever went to an eye doctor, you'd be fine.
You're done by noon.
All right.
And it's you will love it. You'll be you know what? This
Then and then you look back at the work and you're like, oh my God, it looks so good.
Yeah, I'm all
I
in.
love golf. I love golf courses. Like I love golf, but I love golf courses too. Like, like just God's beauty and all that. I love it.
Sam, I got a question, and I don't know if you and Evan have talked about this before, but we were having this conversation on group text yesterday with some of the coaches, and we've seen what happens with post-game pressers, and it seems like, and it could be recency bias. You think baseball coaches have the ability to be the most terse or confrontational? It just seems like whether it's pitching matchups or how well they know their guys or when to pull a guy or when to pinch hit, like it seems like a lot more personal in their delivery if there's some disagreement with decisions made in press conferences.
I think so. I think that's a really good point.
Okay.
You're probably talking about Corbin, right?
Well, there's a handful this week, but they happen all season. It's crazy.
Yeah, and Will Bolt and Ed Service are pretty good guys. So like
I thought Will, for how it went yesterday, I thought Will was exceptional.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there wasn't any. I mean,
he could have gone there.
Well, yeah, but like, there's nothing to be frustrated with the reporter about.
Yeah,
So the Corbin one was notable. Baseball is an incredible sport, and so like I think one of the things that managers, I don't know if it's an advantage or a disadvantage, but managers have a lot of time in the course of a baseball game to really think, and it's a thinking person's game, right? Mm-hmm. And so like they have already turned over their decisions so many times in their own mind that by the time I think they get to those pressers, they stewed pretty good on good and bad mistakes. And so, like, it's not like, like Matt Rule can get fired up after a post game, in a post game presser. He's never combative, but he can get fired up. But it's in a football game, it's such a fog. Like, I just went through 3 hours and I don't even, I barely know what happened. And, so like Matt Rule on a Monday is even better than he is on a Saturday because he went back and digested everything and he can kind of process through it. I thought Scott Frost really struggled after games to really go through the fog that had just occurred, and it took him days to process it. So like, I think baseball managers have an opportunity during the course of the game to do all that. And then when they get to the post game, it's quite possible that they're pretty ticked off because they've had a chance to marinate on the things that they've been thinking about. And it can come out it's almost like sometimes they get ticked at questions they probably would have asked themselves or already have in the course of a game. And of course, it was a tectonic shift kind of weekend where the number 1 and number 2 seeds are out.
I mean, we've seen some legendary ones, right? Vitello.
Yeah.
We've seen Elliott Avent from NC State. Like, we have seen. And then
that's personality driven with that guy, and I don't mind him.
We've seen Sully at Florida. Like, we've seen some doozies.
Yes, we have, and so I think that just has something to do with the nature of the sport. Baseball's super internal. Like, there's a lot going on internally because you're not going to show your emotion all the time in baseball, and so like it's pretty. Some of the best rants of all time in sports have come from baseball coaches. I would say football's number 1.
That's true.
But baseball's number 2.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know, Sam.
All the ones I'm thinking about right now are football.
Oh yeah. And they're funny.
Who's topping Wally Backman? Anybody? Not even Dennis Green.
Yeah.
How about Hal McRae?
Wally Backman.
Hey, nobody's topping Hal McRae.
No, but Wally Backman was part of this tiny team in Georgia, the South Georgia Peanuts. And anybody who wants to watch that on YouTube is encouraged to do so because it is hilarious.
So you think Jim Mora was a little more melty than, like, let's say Billy Martin?
Mike Ditka.
Yeah,
Mike Gundy. I mean, Mike Gundy's probably the most memorable one at this point.
Yeah.
Right?
But it wasn't like
Mike
that.
Ditka, though. I mean, Mora. I mean, some of the ones with Mora, the playoffs one's the one that's remembered. But the one where he walks out and he just starts screaming about his team doing diddly poo.
Yeah.
I mean, he resigned the next day. He was so embarrassed by his rant that he actually quit. So anyway, yeah, we could go on and on about that. But yeah, baseball coaches definitely have a certain comportment. Yeah, I've made it over the years a passion to watch coach rants on YouTube. So Wally Backman, and it's not just the one that people know. He had a bunch in that documentary that only lasts 1 year. And people are encouraged to go watch that. It's actually not a very good documentary, but it's hilarious anyway. If that makes sense.
So, Sam, I guess I sit here and I go, okay, I understand that there's a lot of time to think in baseball. I understand that but to me, that would lend itself to less hostility. Like if you've got time to kind of think through the things you're going to say and that you're probably going to be asked. I mean, he probably knew somebody was going to ask, hey, the SEC is pretty good at baseball. They've got pretty good at pitching. Is Wright State better? Is that why the bats weren't I think that's a reasonable question to ask because as DB and I discussed earlier, they very famously on the broadcast said the average fastball in the SEC is 95 miles an hour. I don't think Wright State's pumping that up there, but it's super disingenuous to just be well, they've got good pitching too, Aria. Did you play college playoff baseball? It's well, okay, if you ran through the SEC the way you did, maybe it's a reasonable question to ask why Wright State's giving you the trouble.
Yeah. It was a good question. I mean,
it was a good
and
question.
She even tried to explain
what she meant.
Yeah, and he
tried to bully her.
Yeah, I think anytime you start getting into why weren't you guys very good? Why didn't you guys do what you're supposed to do? Why? You have to start asking questions about. And again, baseball is trickier. It's trickier. You can't just quote unquote play harder in baseball. You can, but you can't. It's like saying I'm going to play harder in golf. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not like that.
I agree.
And so can't. There are times where, and I didn't watch the Vanderbilt Wright State battles, but where I've watched Nebraska play a lesser team in baseball, and Nebraska just tries too hard. They're trying so hard to hit the ball out or do whatever that they're they'll have games where they have 11 or 12 strikeouts, and you're like, guys, you're trying too hard. You've got to, whatever. I mean, Damon knows way more about how to hit a baseball than I ever did. So, it's trickier in baseball, but those are perfectly good questions. And I think on some level you could argue, Wright State's been around for a while, and so they're not new to the rodeo. They've got a program, and they've been competitive. So kind of be like Northeastern beating you. It's not like it's a team that's literally never been to the NCAA tournament for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
But that stuff happens sometimes, and I wouldn't have made Vanderbilt the number one overall seed.
I think people took a little umbrage with that, and maybe was kind of what he was feeling because they did have a super hot last third of the season, and they leapfrog a couple of good SEC teams. But coincidentally, if you're not named Arkansas, there's a lot of them that are in trouble right now, or at least being pushed. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Texas is out, and that's surprising. I wasn't going to be snarky on Twitter and say, how does this affect Trev Albert's job at Texas A&M that Texas was out? Because there's been all this hullabaloo, right, about Trev hiring some guy, the replacement at A&M. Was he good enough and all this other stuff, as if the baseball program is going to lead to Trev Albert's not being at Texas A&M. But, Texas was surprising. Arkansas's in, Auburn's in. Auburn's got a tough matchup with Coastal Carolina, who's a very good team and probably better than a 13 seed.
Kentucky getting bounced by West Virginia I wouldn't call that a shocker.
No. Let's see. Tennessee and Wake Forest play
today.
That's kind of that's a toss-up.
Ole Miss today. Ole Miss has got
yeah,
Murray
they should
State.
win.
Yeah.
And now if Murray State wins, and then you've got Murray State, and you've got
Little Rock,
UTSA,
and you got Little Rock and
Little Rock,
LSU.
if they were to win today, if these teams if that all happens, it just tells you that we've maybe gotten past the COVID year baseball guys. That I feel like, over the last 2 or 3 years, the SEC was dominant in part because they had guys that were, 23 and 24 years old. We're probably on the other side of that now. A lot of those guys have been drafted because it makes sense to go to the major leagues as opposed to staying in college for NIL money for a lot of these baseball guys. And so I kind of thought there would be a year where it would be a little bit more parity, and it appears to be that. We could have a ton of underdogs. We could have a ton of guys. We could have a ton of teams in Omaha. What if we had UTSA and Arkansas, Little Rock, and Murray State? Well, I don't know if we'd have them all three of them, but it would be kind of fun. It would be kind of fun if all three of them, if you had 3 underdogs there mixed in with a couple of powerhouses like Arkansas or Tennessee, things like that. And we'll see how it shakes out. But maybe this is the year of the underdog.
Sam, it's so difficult. I talk about this almost every year since the new format because I don't really like the way that I don't like the setup. It's so much it's the only real team sport that's so much different than the regular season and often leads itself to not you'll get the best team. It's just such a difficult path, right? You think college baseball revisits the format for regionals and supers?
I don't anticipate it. Sometimes
it's brutal. It's brutal. You can't find
what's brutal about it.
Well, you could play as many as 5 games, and in 4 days or whatever. Then you turn right around the following week and play your supers in another 3-game set, which I get how that's the regular season goes, but you could have to win, I don't know, 8 or 9 games to win a championship.
Yeah, for sure. I think one thing that you could see change is, if they're able to get more TV stations involved in this, or you could play more games in a shorter compressed amount of time. Obviously, Southern Miss and Miami are playing at 8:00 Central tonight.
Yeah.
And, they've been sitting around for 4 days. So, that feels kind of dumb. And it's on a streaming network of all things. So, yeah, TV complicates it. I think the super regional best of 3 is where it's at, and that's gonna stay that way. And you could alter the regional schedules a little bit. Tom Chattel has made the argument about that you actually should extend it an extra week. And you should have like a regional, like a regional, super regional part 2 that reduces the number of games that you're playing in the weekend. Tom understands that format better than I do, but that's interesting. You'd have to maybe reduce the first weekend of non-conference play back in February to do it right. Maybe you could do that where those last 2, you have like a set of 2 super regionals of sorts. But I think their model is probably where they want it. Softball does the same thing.
What about going to single elimination in the regionals?
I think there's a feeling that there's a risk in doing that because you're gonna knock higher. The regional format is set up to favor the better team.
Yeah.
They got to be beaten twice in order to get out, and that's probably part of the challenge. So I think that the reason that they wouldn't go to that is they don't want to create a scenario where the highest seed gets knocked out, right away. So
it's already pretty advantageous for top seeds, though. I mean,
it is.
I don't know.
I agree with you. I agree. I mean, I think that's a fair point.
I just wish it was I just wish it was a little more like the regular season.
I get that, and
it's hard for these teams. Listen to me, woe is the players, but I mean, just watch. like if you have 4 or 5 good pitchers, it's a luxury. There's 18 or 20 on your roster, right? Like, how do you not have more than a Friday, Saturday guy and maybe a hammer on the back end? I don't know. That may say more about the way that the game is trending than the setup, but I mean, you're going to keep getting these kinds of softball scores in elimination games, and without addressing some of the issues in terms of depth.
You are, and you used to get that back in the 80s and the 90s. I mean,
I remember that. How many times they tweak that format?
A lot. You know, one of the most underrated changes in college baseball that people don't even talk about much anymore is that we went away from a regional format to what we have now. And I'll be honest with you, as frustrated as some people might get over the SEC's dominance, I think that change saved the CWS in some ways, because there was a period of time where Maine made, I think, 6 College World Series in the 80s. Maine.
Yeah.
And Maine wasn't that good, but Maine got in because they lived, they played in the Northeast, and they had to play Harvard and Yale to make the CWS. And Maine won a couple of games once they got here. I'm not trying to knock Maine, but
go Black Bears.
But going to a model that, that actually supported all of the, that got more than 2 SEC teams up here was good. And so I think, maybe they could go to single elimination. I saw a stat that 90% of the home teams that won their first 2 games ended up going to winning the regional anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And so, an 85% of a road team that won its first 2 games won the regional. So in theory, what you could say is, hey, if Vanderbilt loses that first game to Wright State, they're not going to win their regional anyway, even if they got to be eliminated twice. So it's a reasonable point. And maybe they could go to single elimination and make it a lot faster and easier. Obviously, softball is a little easier on the pitchers. You don't have to have 20 pitchers on your roster in softball. So maybe for softball, it's better than it is for baseball.
Hey, Sam, transitioning to football, a huge start to the offseason today. Guys going back to school, the whole kit and caboodle. Don't you feel like it's kind of flown under the radar with the transition and the overhaul of special teams, given how important it was to end results last year?
I think a little bit.
You don't have to go along with me. I don't know, man. I mean, Archie just got there, so maybe that's part of it. But I mean, got a lot of work to do there.
I think there's they've certainly overhauled. They've added a kicker. They added a long snapper a long time ago, 7 months ago or whatever. But they added Archie Wilson today. He's not on the roster yet. Like on the Husker roster, but they're going to be their punter. Nobody really knows anything about him. We'll see how it goes. When it comes to rugby punters, they need to learn the American game. And Mike Eckler already had one at Tennessee, so I'm sure he'll do a good job of downloading that into Archie, or whatever Archie does or doesn't know. But he'll figure it out and they'll learn it. Because the previous rugby punter that Nebraska had didn't really know much about the game. And so, we don't really know how much Archie Wilson knows. So they'll have to do that. But one thing I will say is that when they hired Mike Eckler, I'm sure Eckler was very honest about, hey, you're hiring me. You're going to hire me to turn over every stone, every one of them. So we're going to be really aggressive and proactive about doing what we do, because everybody who knows Eckler knows that the guy's, sort of an all gas, no brakes kind of person, which means he's not going to go, well, whatever we got to do. No, we're going to be on point, and we're going to be detailed, and we're going to be fastidious about what we do. And so I'm sure as Matt Rule was thinking about who he was going to hire, he understood that he was hiring a guy that was going to go get a rugby punter. So again, with Eckler, you can know that he is going to make sure he's going to, tend to his yard really well. And so I think we've touched on that. I think there's some skepticism because of history about whether special teams can get better. And I guess I would say, yes, it can. And I think it's going to. I think it's going to get better this season. So there's some skepticism. I think Husker fans are a little jaded there. They want to see it happen because they know that it's cost Nebraska several games over the last 5 years. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think everybody's in kind of a wait and see mode about just about everything about Nebraska right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of excitement and enthusiasm, but there's a lot of like, all right, looks like you got a team. Let's see it happen.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Sam, we've been, and it sucked missing you last time, but we've been getting into this conference quarterback discussion and, you know, the ACC and
I cannot hear the question.
Can you hear me? Oh, I haven't asked it yet. We've just gotten into a lot of talks about the quarterbacks in the different conferences, right? And when you're looking at the number of teams in the playoffs and the playoff format, when you look at college football, what's the correlation ratio, in your opinion, between quality, good, high-level quarterback play, being good at the quarterback spot, versus your opportunity to visit the postseason? Oh, we
lost him.
Oh, that's why. That's why he said that.
He was cutting out.
He was cutting out.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was us, and I was like, oh.
Shane, hit him back.
We'll see if we can get Sam back here for another few minutes to revisit that. But it was a bummer that we missed him last week when we were kind of going through the rankings and things like that, because I am curious to see how he views, because he keeps a pretty good pulse on college football in general.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm really interested to see how he views some of these other conference quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Because I think is he back, Shane?
They're making small talk. You know, Shane missed Sam.
Yeah, you know, it's been a couple minutes. So
he stole my how's the weather question.
We good, Shane?
Sam, you there?
Sam, you back?
There he is. I can hear him. Sam, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
So we've been just chewing up quarterbacks the last couple of months, and as it relates to conference play and success, and this whole thing started when Sankey was, you know, maybe rolling the dice of not being paid for the extra conference game and maybe trying to get a fifth team in the playoffs. And so we just started looking at quarterback rankings and the fifth and sixth and seventh best quarterbacks in conferences and stuff. For you, what's the ratio or correlation of good playoff caliber quarterbacks to their actual team making the playoffs? Is it 1-to-1? Is it 70? Like, because I want to get into quarterback talk here a little bit.
Yeah, I think there's some correlation. It's not absolute, but there's some. And you know, I think if you have one of the 3 or 4 best quarterbacks in a given power conference league, you have a good chance of making it. I don't know, for example, that Arizona State's Sam Leavitt was one of the 3 or 4 best quarterbacks in that league. He had the stats of that, but I don't know that he actually was.
Just start right there.
Interesting.
Start right there in the Big 12.
Like, I don't know that he was one of the best. I mean, he was good. But, you know, Shedeur Sanders was the best quarterback in the Big 12, and they obviously didn't make it to the playoff. And you could say the guy anyway. There's some correlation to it. Yeah.
Do you think
I mean, yeah.
Do you think Sam Leavitt's the best returning quarterback to the Big 12?
You got Becht at ISU. You got Hoover at TCU. You got Ratzliff at BYU. You have Robertson at Baylor. You got Avery Johnson at K-State. You got Barron at Texas Tech.
Jalen Daniels at Kansas.
He's still there.
It's his 6th year.
Yeah,
good for him.
So when I say all those names, it's where you can see why the win total is the worst team in the Big 12 season win total is 5.5. The best team is 8.5.
And most of them are 7.5.
Everybody's in between.
Right. Yeah, I think that's part of it. I mean, Cam Ward didn't make the playoff last year, and he was the best quarterback in the country.
Good point.
You know, I mean, so you know, there's things that you can say about it, but there's correlation, of course. yes, there's definitely a relationship between elite quarterback play that then translates to the NFL and college football playoff performance. Joe Burrow was really good in college, and he was really good in the pros. And Tua, great in college, great in the pros. Bryce Young, gonna be good in the pros, great in college. Like, all those things track. And so it does help to have a great team around you, but quarterback play absolutely matters. And Ohio State had good enough quarterback play. Will Howard was solid when he needed to be, and he made enough plays, and good for him. And he was surrounded by an all-star team. So that also helps when you have the best receivers in the country and the best defensive line in the country. Putting all those pieces together is important.
Are you a little taken aback that San hasn't been a little bit more pronounced in terms of the expectation level this year at Columbus, or you think that jives?
That they haven't.
Yeah, it seems like they may have a legitimate battle.
Yeah, it surprises me a little bit, and he's obviously part of it. And then the kid from South Dakota is
Lincoln Keinholz,
still in the battle. They have the luxury of playing it out. I mean, they do. They have the luxury of playing it out. It's the premier program in the country at this point. I think they win a lot of games, and honestly, I think you're playing for a head coach that's probably easier to play for than Kirby Smart. And you're playing for a coach that's, if you're good, you're gonna be surrounded by great players, and you got a chance of playing in the NFL. So there's a lot of reasons why Julian Sand will stick there and battle for the job. Like, he doesn't have any leverage. He just doesn't. I mean, none of those guys there do. And so the best guy's going to win. And if they haven't decided yet who that's going to be, then there you go. Apparently there's still a battle in Michigan too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Bryce Underwood,
if he would have been healthy to compete with Underwood, he missed winter, he missed a lot of spring.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's kind of been Underwood's show. I think Michigan is probably not even sure what they have yet.
I don't think they are either. And the other thing is, and I've said this a couple of times in relation to Dylan, most teams do not have to play an elite true freshman quarterback. In fact, they would prefer not to if they didn't have to.
Yeah.
Because it's a 3-year conversation no matter what. The guy's not going to the pros for 3 years, so you don't have to play him right away. And 2 years of college football starting is enough evaluation tools for the NFL to say, hey, you're great. And so a lot of times these programs want to bring these guys along slowly so that they don't put themselves in jeopardy of losing the game. Now, Nebraska was different because Dylan Raiola was so much better. And Nebraska doesn't have like a team that can just, they needed Dylan. They needed him to elevate them and make them better in some areas. And so it's a little bit different at Nebraska. But at Michigan, Bryce Underwood, whoever the quarterback is going to be throwing it 22 times a game and running at 5. So, like, if it doesn't have to be Bryce Underwood, then I'm surprised he's there. I'll be honest with you. I think he's a real good player. I'm surprised that he went there. I just don't think the offense is ever going to be what it will be at LSU. So I'm candidly surprised. I mean, I know why J.J. McCarthy went there, but that's a whole different thing. I think Bryce could have gone anywhere in the country, and he went to a school that's going to use, 3 tight ends and run, there's only like 2 teams in the NFL that do what Michigan does. And I find it odd that he went there, but he's there. And I assume they're going to try to play him early. Whether that goes well for him in Michigan, I don't know.
I mean, he's there for now. That's the important part.
I'm surprised he went there for a year. I'm not trying to knock Michigan. I have a heck of a lot of respect for their program.
Yeah.
And I think Matt Rule does too. And they're going to come in here to Nebraska, like I've said before. They're going to come into Nebraska, and Sharon Moore, who I think is a good coach, is going to be, we're going to put our 2 tight ends on the field, and we're going to run it at you, and we're going to see over in 90-degree heat on September 20th whether you can handle that. Because the last time we came here, you couldn't. And so, like, they're going to do the same thing, and they're men at Michigan, and I respect what they do, but they're not going to come out and say, all right, you know, we're going to throw it 47 times. That's not happening. And Bryce Underwood is a 40 times a game passer, you know, so I'm not sure, you know, I don't know that matches up. He could have gone to USC, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go to USC, but he's at Michigan, and, you know, we'll see. J.J. McCarthy was comfortable throwing the ball 20 times a game. God bless him, you know, but not many quarterbacks are willing to do that. And we'll see if Underwood is willing. I'd rather, if I was a quarterback, I'd go to Ohio State over Michigan, but Michigan keeps winning the big games, so I guess maybe that evens it out.
Sam, let me ask you this to get you out of here, since we're talking about Michigan versus LSU and the different systems here, because I do think the systems and coaching matter when we're having this quarterback competition or conversation. So let me give you, in some order, the top 5 guys in the SEC: Garrett Nussmeier, Arch Manning, Lenore Stellar, DJ Lagway, John Mateer. And the 5 top guys, arguably in some order, in the Big Ten: Drew Aller, Luke Altmaier, Fernando Mendoza. I'm going to put Dylan in there, and I'm going to put Nico in there. Which of those 5 do you like better? Which would you take?
And I guess I'd have to think about it for a minute. You know,
it's tough.
It is.
Because I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure you would land on those 5 in the Big Ten.
Maybe
but
not.
I do think that's the 5.
That's a fine 5.
No, it's a good,
you know, maybe.
But I mean, some may like Dante Moore.
You could
some
argue.
may like.
You could argue.
I mean, I don't know. There's some guys. Some may like Gronowski.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say the leagues are actually quite even at this point in terms of caliber of player. There is part of me that wonders if, you know, top to bottom, the coaches, the offensive minds in the Big Ten have now surpassed the SEC. I think that would be something I would think about.
The coaches, you mean?
Not just, the offensive coach. Yeah, the people who are behind the guys that are, if you look at the coaches now in the Big Ten,
it's incredible.
I think you're ahead of where the SEC is. So
the assistant coaches in the Big Ten are incredible.
Yeah. Head coaches are good too.
Oh,
so
yeah.
So you got Dana Holgorsen, right? And so, like, he's at Nebraska, but, like, you know, Jed Fish at Washington is a noted offensive mind. And, you know, whatever Oregon's doing is fine. I'm not trying to knock Oregon. Oregon has great football players. Oregon's thing is that they have great football players. Oregon's thing, like, schematic advantages, you know what? No, they don't have them. And people should be, like, honest about their coaching needs to get better because they have great football players, and when they go play good teams, they get outcoached. Or against Ohio State in the Rose Bowl, they got outplayed too, but they didn't look like they belonged on the same field. And a lot of times with Oregon, it's about the players. And then when they go coach, it's like, hey, we forgot how to coach. And, like, you know, and it's, I don't know. I know that's a rude thing to say, but I've watched that team a lot. I watched them lose 3 in a row to Kalen DeBoer in Washington. And Washington didn't have better players than Oregon.
In the same season.
Get housed by Ohio State. I mean, crushed. So they actually got to get better at the coaching piece. So I don't want to laud them unreasonably, but, like, Jed Fish at Washington and Lincoln Riley at USC, and I know he gets knocked a lot, but he knows how to coach quarterbacks. And you know, the Penn State offensive coordinator, Brian Day at Ohio State, you know, he can coach. Let's be honest, he knows how to coach offense.
Yeah.
And so, you know, like, there's just a lot of minds in the Big Ten that I think are pretty impressive.
Yeah, Kodanicki's pretty good.
Yeah,
it's really good. And the SEC. Who's the best coach there? Sarkisian, right? So he's the best play caller /
I don't know, Lane.
Quarterbacks coach.
Lane's pretty good offensive mind.
He's good. I think Sarkisian is probably better. Lane
that's
team,
a good one.
Oh, it's true.
That's a good one. I like that debate.
It's a good debate, but I think, you know, Mississippi's teams fall short, and they have great players too. That's, again, I'm not saying that Oregon and Ole Miss are gimmicks. They're not gimmicks. They're very good programs. I'll just say that when you get into the biggest games, I watched Penn State last year schematically find a way to move the football without any receivers. And that's coaching. Like, that's great coaching. And I don't know that I always find that when I watch Oregon and Ole Miss. I'm like, they have players all over the field, and they have these games where they can't figure out how to score. And I watched Penn State last year not have receivers and find ways, And so, like, coaching is coaching. And I watched Dana Holgorsen come in and change things in 4 weeks or 4 games or whatever. And that's coaching. So, like, I guess I'll take the Big Ten quarterbacks because I think they're led by guys that are a little bit better than the SEC guys. But it's pretty tight. Steve Sarkisian's really good. And his pairing with Arch Manning, I think, is going to be a special one. I think they're going to have a lot of fun in Austin this year.
Unfortunately, I think you're right, but I am praying you're wrong because they play with a certain degree of physicality, too, that I think people sleep on when it comes to Texas. I watched that second
lineman in the country.
Listen, that secondary and that D line were thumping people last year.
Oh yeah,
like
well they pay them.
They brought.
They're paying for it.
They brought some drama.
Oh, they did. Yeah, they played very. I mean, they pay well. So Texas is proof positive that you can go get the linemen and you can pay for them and then develop them. And who's their offensive line coach? It's Kyle Flood, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a tough guy.
That's our guy, Sam McKewon.
Maybe a little too tough of a guy, but
Sam
he got in
McKewon.
a little bit of trouble, I think, at Rutgers.
Yeah, yes, he did.
Omaha World Herald. Sam, we appreciate the time. As always, good stuff.
Thanks, Sam.
Take care. Bye.
We'll be back. More Hurrdat Sports Live coming up next.
You've brought up your family multiple times. How has being a grandfather changed you as a person and maybe as a coach too?
Well, it definitely changed me as a coach because, Merritt Beeson made a comment to me about a year ago, like, you just need to pretend we're Madden, your granddaughter. If you just treat us like that, everything will be great. And that really hit me. And and again, part of this is, when you're coaching, you miss out on a lot of what your kids are doing, and your wife has to kind of manage all that. And Madden's starting to get into a lot of things right now, and I just kind of feel like I want to be a part of that and be close to that and be around that and support Lauren. Helping out with babysitting, and Madden's at an age now she wants to hang out with me. So we play volleyball. Of course, I'm the coach, and my wife's Harper, and she's Merritt, and we got a softball. We go at it.
I love it. Look at the landscape of college wrestling. How much growth have you seen from the first day you stepped on this campus to right now in terms of the fans, the attention, the TV deals?
Yeah, I think, our crowds have got really much bigger the last 4 or 5 years. But I think we've always had exciting guys. Now we have a team full of guys that are really exciting to watch. And they're going to fight to the death, and we have 6 All-Americans coming back next year. So, come on, Husker fans, we want to pack that Devaney every time. And I think, Terry Pettit and John Cook have set that ladder for women's volleyball, and I think we can be that next sport to pack the Bob Devaney and really put people on their feet. And, we're starting a student section next year, so really challenging our students out there.
of course, you went to Elkhorn South. You were a Maverick at UNO. I mean, what more could you ask for to be right here in this moment representing really all of Omaha, just here at the Oscars?
Yeah, there's a lot of better athletes than me out here in this crowd tonight. I'm not nominated for my athletic abilities, and that's totally fine with me. I love covering all these amazing women and men from where I grew up. I mean, this is what I've dreamed of, and it's incredible.
Moving on from with Hurrdat Sports, you've also worked with CBS Sports a little bit too. So can you tell us a little bit about branching out even further than just the Omaha area? Because you gained a little bit more repetition and a little bit more notoriety than getting that regional stuff as well.
Yeah, I think it all starts local, what I do here, and then moving up to national coverage is absolutely amazing. And just getting to put my name out there, and the fact that anybody around the United States can flip on a TV and see me is a pretty crazy thought. Don't know how I got here sometimes, but a lot of hard work, a lot of people along the way that have helped me. But yeah, the idea is for me to keep branching out, go from these regional and local coverage to as much national as I can do, and hopefully bringing our local coverage nationally as well.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
We're back here on Hurrdat Sports Live, reminding you to go check out centrusfcu.org. If you're in the neighborhood for a new vehicle, get that auto loan through Centrus FCU. They've been voted best of Omaha for auto loans. And whether it's a daily driver, recreational vehicle, motorcycle, whatever you're looking for, they can help you out. centrusfcu.org has the products, services, and expertise you need. Federally insured by NCUA. DB, interesting question there. A couple of them with Sam. One, I'm going to push back on the Lane Kiffin versus Steve Sarkisian thing because of the thing that you said. Sarkisian has had way better linemen. I know that Ole Miss goes out and gets some dudes. They don't have the trenches that Texas does. So that's going to help out a lot to make Sarkisian look better. That's fine. But in terms of play calling, when all things were basically equal, it was Kiffin better play call at Bama than Sarkisian won. That's a fact. That's about as a one-to-one comparison as you're going to get. Yeah. Very similar guys at one point in the same season even. Kiffin was better at Alabama as a play caller.
And he kind of was more the guy. Lane was probably the guy that
he modernized Alabama's offense.
Yes, he did. Got him to
got Saban out of the Stone Age.
Yeah, put him in the spread.
Right?
And tempo.
And took them into a whole other level of success in doing so.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm going to have a real hard time on the Kiffin versus Sarkisian thing. Sarkisian might be a better head coach. I'd listen to that. Kiffin, I think, is a better play caller. We're just talking about offensive coordinating play calling. I'm going to take Kiffin. I had to get that out there.
That's your guy.
I love Kiffin.
I'm still stuck on the whole which coaches or managers melt down the best.
So I think baseball guys burn hotter. Like the meltdowns are more ridiculous because they go into character. It becomes a whole thing. They're putting on a production. Baseball managers are very dramatic. I don't know if they've got like a thespian background, like they did the one act play in high school or whatever it is, but they've got a little bit. They're a little extra when it comes to their meltdowns. I do think the football ones are more frequent, and they're probably more memorable just from the standpoint of like the one-liners. Like baseball managers go full on crazy, but you get like the one-liners like playoffs, or you get your Mike Singletary like can't win with them, or I'm a man, I'm 40, right? Like you get the one-liners from the football guys.
Crown them,
gonna crown their asses. They are who we thought they were. We let them off the hook, right? Like you get the one-liners from the football coaches. You get the full-on like, does this person need to be committed to a padded rubber room? With baseball coaches.
I do think there's something to by the time that they get to the press conference.
They've stewed on it for so long.
And they've thought about it because it is a thinking man's game, which brings me to, listen,
I'm just saying as an adult, the longer you have to think about it, the more you should be able to talk yourself down from the emotion.
A lot of ancillary bullshit.
Is that an unreasonable ask? The longer you've had to think about it, the more you should be able to not be emotional about the answer?
It just depends. Because there are people. Well, why can't people sleep? Right?
They
because
just stew on it.
They're still stewing.
Yeah, they're turning it over in their head.
So it kind of it depends.
Okay.
right? Is that
No, you're right. I would expect more heat of the moment answers from football coaches because it's like, bam, you're in there, go. Whereas basketball or baseball coaches, you kind of have you have a minute to kind of go over it.
there's just a lot of time. Who was really good? Was it Riley? Was it Riley that could talk about specific play sequences?
Pat?
What's that?
No.
Mike?
Yeah.
Oh.
It wasn't too long ago, and I know it wasn't Frost.
It wasn't Frost because he wasn't great in those situations.
He would say
Callahan could do it too. He didn't a lot because he didn't really.
He's like, listen, you get 2nd and 10 in the second quarter with 3. Coach Rule is really good at that.
Like the recall.
Yeah, he's really good at that too. Which is it's hard to do
because there's a lot happening.
And the more you can do that, the more you kind of wonder if you've moved on.
Mm-hmm.
But there are just some people with those kinds of memories sequentially where it can happen like that. And I think the thing that I'm saying for baseball is I'm not asking for a significant amount of overhaul. What I'm telling you is, I guess this is where I land the plane with the format, whether you have single limb, double limb, the regionals, the supers. I'd like it to be as much like the regular season as possible. And the other thing is, when you have double a limb and a short stint, like let's say the regionals, it's so much about strategy and thinking ahead than it is actually playing the game.
Which, by the way,
and I want the game to kind of be played in its purest form.
Which everyone is forced into that situation, right? Into where they have to think about not just their current opponent, but the next one as well, right? So that's another reason why Tim Corbin is a dick.
Wow.
Because he's not just thinking about Wright State. He can't. It's coaching malpractice if he's only thinking about Wright State.
Yeah.
He has to think ahead. That's part of how this structure's set up. And maybe it's a flawed structure. I'm listening to that. But for him to be like, I'm just focused on Wright State, you're being disingenuous and you're being a jerk for no reason. Because we all know that's not the case. There's a reason Kyson Witherspoon didn't pitch game 1.
Yeah.
Right? Because nobody, you think if Oklahoma was just thinking about Nebraska, that Kyson doesn't go game 1? Right?
Yeah.
None of these coaches are thinking that way. Don't lie to me about it. I know it's for a fact, but you're right. It puts them in a position where they have to think like that, and I don't know that that's great. I agree with you there. It is a flawed, it's not a very pure form of baseball, as you said. You don't get just, hey, go out and play.
Listen, I'm not one of those guys that I'm not going to poo on the sport because I love the sport. And I do have a tremendous amount of respect for it because it's extremely difficult.
Oh, it's incredible.
And I've lamented over that for years, so I won't relitigate that. I'm just saying I don't know how good it is for the overall game to be seeing the kind of games that we see in regionals.
Yeah.
And elimination games.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to, and I'm not going to listen that's part of it. Right? Because rosters are built for that not to be the case.
Yeah, they're built for.
So why does it happen?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a depth problem.
It shouldn't be. But again, I do think there's, as much as I think there's a structural issue in terms of the regionals, I also think there's a philosophy issue.
Creighton trotted out pretty competitive arms, no matter how deep the bully went.
Yeah.
Is it unique to Creighton?
It shouldn't be.
It's intentional.
Yeah. They went out and got
it's intentional
guys that could pitch.
So it's you're capable of doing that.
So that's what I mean by a philosophical issue, right? Because it's not like Creighton has access to better players than some of these other programs. And it's just a matter of, hey, they want to go out and they think they have to have a guy that can throw 96 coming out of the pen to be competitive. And that's not true. Go find a guy that can actually pitch.
How crazy was it to just, and I think I said it and everybody was busy, but it's Nolan Sailors, a true senior, just 4 years.
Just, hey, that's it.
Do you know, I'm sure they're out there.
Not a lot.
Seems kind of rare.
Especially in baseball, because for as good as Nolan is, those guys usually leave after 3.
Or
they're in their 4th, 5th, or 6th year.
A true 4-year guy.
We'll see him back again, starting pretty soon. I think.
It's like I'm like, wait.
Baseball's weird though. Like,
it is.
Like you get because the movement's been in baseball forever, right?
Yeah.
So
long before other sports.
Yeah, long before the portal became ubiquitous, like you could move freely in baseball, and it's been kind of goofy for a while. So I don't know that you see it as much as you might in other sports, but I think you'll start to get it coming back. We're getting far enough away from COVID that you're going to start getting some of the regular season.
Can I ask a question about?
Yeah.
Is baseball the best sport to get the guys off the field that have just lost a game? I asked that because you don't see all the, you're talking about the coaches after the game, and then that just got me thinking about the guys after the game.
A lot of times those guys stay in the dugout.
Because you don't see a lot of the guys with like the towel on their head or crying under the hoop or anything like that. It seems like they get them.
I don't know. You do have a lot of guys lingering on the dugout.
Yeah, I would say that. I agree. I agree with that.
And also, we don't see what's happening in the clubhouse either. Because if guys are going to start crying, they usually bust. Like, they get out. So you don't see them on camera.
I mean, because we just saw some of those plays at the end of the, like where the guy went up the wall, and then he just stood there for a second afterwards and was like, man, it's over,
Yeah, I hope. I don't know. I think the pace is getting better. I think it's it's a lot of parity.
Yeah, which I think is good. I like it. I like the fact that I'm thrilled that the SEC isn't dominating the regionals.
There's just so many good baseball players.
There is. There always has been, really.
I mean,
like baseball has always, I think, had the greatest depth of players.
It's just really good.
Now you're getting to that point in basketball because so many kids are playing basketball. You get a lot of really good basketball players now, and the COVID year.
Although the numbers are down, you see the numbers are down.
Are they?
The last 3 years of youth participants in basketball.
Because it felt like for a stretch there.
No, I'm with you.
Like there was, I think there's a greater level of skill in basketball on the way up than there has been in a long time.
And I think we're finally going to get a really, really good, like a quality college basketball season this year.
I'm hoping. We're crossing our fingers.
I don't know. There's a lot of good teams.
We're going to talk to Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball, coming up next about the college baseball season. But if you're headed to the College Baseball Championship coming up here in Omaha, skip the traffic, take a winning ride with Metro Transit, park for free at Westroads, and take Orbit straight downtown, or get downtown, take the free ballpark bus that runs every 10 minutes between the Chuck and Dodge Street. Ometro.com is where you find all the info. Kendall Rogers coming up next.
Aspirations can drive us. Sometimes a simple gesture is what fuels the pursuit of a dream. When it's time to make your dream a reality, we are here to help. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
I mean, obviously you've been to Nebraska multiple times and know what they're about. You said LSU, Florida State; those are obviously important schools. Notre Dame just offered. That's a newer offer for you, right?
Yeah, Notre Dame. I definitely want to get up there. They invited me to this camp, but I'm gonna probably get to the next one. Yeah, I definitely want to get up there.
How do you handle kind of the, I guess, not pressure, but the notoriety of, hey, you're a second-ranked player in your position as safety in the country and in your class, and have all these offers and that? How do you handle that? How do you manage it?
I kind of try not to listen to what people say. I just try to go out there and do the best I can do on the field. Try to make as many plays as I can to solidify why I am where I'm at.
We will be back. Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
The 0-1. Drive to left. Going back. Still going back. To the fence. It's gone. Oklahoma State wins. Got him.
Ole Miss advances to the regional final.
3-1. Clark launches to right. Into the corner. Scannell goes back at the wall. Tie game. Hurrdat goes after the first pitch. He hits it to right field. It's deep. It's gone. A grand slam.
Kicking off hour number 3 here on Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centrist Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We are joined now by Kendall Rogers from D1 Baseball. Kendall, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well. I'm kind of running on fumes from the weekend, but hey, I will not complain about watching entirely too much college baseball.
There's that voice. So you're probably not going to be super happy with me, Kendall, and you're like, oh, that's DB again. But I'm trying to tinker with this format, and I love baseball as much as anyone. It bugs me a little bit not to see all the crooked numbers in elimination games so much as the strategy in double elim in such a short window sometimes takes away. It's so analytical and so analysis oriented that sometimes the actual baseball gets away from the game, right? Well, I got to save this guy for this or this matchup here. And we kind of lose a little bit of that. Could you see a format, or would you entertain a format where you maybe go high intensity, single elim? It's so many games you have to win just to get to Omaha potentially. It's not like the regular season.
I don't know about single elimination, but the one thing I do like is the idea of doing a 3-game series all the way up to Omaha. Here's my thing. If you look at college baseball, what is it predicated upon? It's predicated upon winning a 3-game series. So if that's what we spend our entire season doing, and I get the MLB and NBA and sports like that also change their format, different from the regular season. But in baseball, I do think it's unique that a team builds the entire roster around a 3-man rotation, a bullpen on a 3-game series, and then all of a sudden we get to the postseason, and it's all in the first round of the postseason. It's all about a tournament with 4 teams in it. So I actually think that we should just make every round leading up to the College World Series a 3-game series. What that allows you to do is to have more hosts, because you're going to need an extra round essentially. So you'd end up having more hosts. We'd end up being able to spread the postseason to venues that otherwise would never probably get a host. And so I've always loved that idea.
Would that help me out, Kendall, because I'm trying to rationalize in my head, especially the last couple of years, and it got really offensive over the weekend. So maybe it's a little recency bias on my part, but it also it protects the development of the arms too, right? Because with some of these rosters, you got 18 to 20 pitchers, and it seems like if you get a good Friday, Saturday guy, you're automatically different. You get a Friday, Saturday guy and one hammer on the back end, you're way different. You're elite if you get a middle guy. It shouldn't be like that with the number of bodies you have on a roster. You think that would clean it up a little bit in terms of what we see in some of these formats?
I do. I just think, again, if you constrain things a little bit, it gives everybody a little bit better shot. Because, there are differences in several programs around the country to where, a team might have a little bit more NIL money, so they're able to have a little bit more depth in the bullpen and things like that. So again, I've always gone back to making everything a 3-game series, and the other thing I would probably do is increase the field to 68 teams. Kind of like college basketball. Let's have allow 4 teams. Because I feel like when it comes to the bubble, I feel like there are always 3 to 4 teams that we all feel like should have probably gotten in, but then didn't get in. Well, if you allow 68, you kind of get every team that you thought would even be in the mix a chance to get in. And then, oh, by the way, you could have a play-in game. The next day they start a 3-game series against the other team. So you would actually have a scenario where 4 teams actually essentially play a old-school regional format, whereas everyone else would play a 3-game series. But, yeah, that would eliminate any kind of arm issues because, there'd be no reason to throw a guy twice in a weekend in a 3-game series.
So do you think, obviously and we could debate who should have been the one, who should have been 2, but clearly you have your top 2 seeds out. Your top teams have struggled. It has been very difficult, but the whole setup is supposed to be advantageous for your top seeds. What makes it so difficult in college baseball where a lot of times you could see some of your top teams eliminated? You don't see that near as much in other sports.
Yeah, I think it's become more prevalent over the last 2 years because I think more programs are putting money into college baseball. We talk so much about NIL with the bigger schools, but what's happened is a lot of these smaller schools, and this isn't the case with every team who's upsetting someone, but there are plenty of schools who are upsetting teams that they may not have a massive football program. They may not have football at all. And so if they get any kind of NIL dollars, guess what program that goes into? That goes into college baseball because that is a sport that allows them to get the most notoriety. So I think what's happening is, and this is exactly what I thought would be the case, is people complained about NIL and how it's going to make the SEC and ACC that much better. I actually think it's made college baseball more competitive because it's pushed some of these kids out of the Power 4 schools. They're going to mid-major schools. And so whereas the mid-majors typically would never have a shot at these guys, they're getting them on the rebound, and they're getting those guys where they're hungry. Like they feel like they I would say owed is the right word, but they feel like they should have had a better situation at the previous school. So they go to mid-major, and they're like, hey, man, I've got a chip on my shoulder. And so I just think this whole system has allowed more parity in college baseball. I just think the margins between Vanderbilt and Wright State are not what they were 6 or 7 years ago.
So, Kendall, we've been talking a lot about kind of pitching staffs this morning, and okay, you're carrying 18 guys, but on a lot of these teams, you're carrying 16, 18 pitchers. But it seems like a lot of them can't find 3 or 4 over the course of a weekend that they actually trust or feel good about. Like, is there a philosophy issue in the types of guys that are being recruited? Because I see, guys in the SEC coming out of the pen throwing 95, 96 that aren't particularly effective. And it's like, I know those guys are getting some NIL money and they're talented guys. Like, is there a philosophy issue in terms of the types of pitchers that are getting recruited to some of these places?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is I think coaches, when they're allocating these NIL dollars and putting together rosters, I think a lot of it is just, the ability to throw strikes. The thing about college baseball, and frankly, I feel like it's this way with baseball at almost every level, is if you can pitch and play defense, you're going to have a shot. If you look around college baseball this year, there have been a couple of venues where home runs have been pretty rampant, but for the most part, in college baseball, if you pitch and play defense, you're going to win a lot of games. And so I think what schools have done is, they've either put a heavy investment in offense or a very heavy investment into pitching. And, if I'm a coach, I'm putting a heavy investment into pitching and defense because I still feel like even in modern college baseball that wins more games.
So, Kendall, you've been around this a lot, and we've I've had him on broadcasts, pre and post interviews. What did you kind of make of Corbin and taking the podium? We got into this conversation this morning. It seems like baseball coaches can rev a little hotter. They get a lot more time to think and analyze and overanalyze and reanalyze every decision they make. You have any real problems with kind of what we've seen happen at the podium sometimes in college baseball?
Yeah,
and I get his personality, but there's Avents, there's Vitalis, there's I mean, we know about Sully. We've seen it.
Yeah, there's plenty of Sully
Augie.
around today. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. These guys are competitive, and yeah, you probably don't have. There's some of these words you probably don't have to use, but it's one of those things, man. It's got to be stressful as a coach. I mean, this day and age is a college coach at football, basketball, baseball. I mean, you're a CEO, you're a babysitter to some degree. And you're being told you need to go out and win a national championship in baseball. So it's a grueling job. I mean, and again, I'm not feeling sorry for him because Tim Corbin's making $2 million a year. But, I'll never fault a coach or a player for saying a couple of choice words in a press conference personally.
Kendall, I'm sitting here and we obviously Vandy got upset, Texas got upset, a lot of SEC teams on the bubble this year. A lot of people had Florida State getting picked to be upset, and they make it through. What was the most surprising result to you? Let's take Vandy out of it since they were the number one overall seed. But what one where you're just like, man, I just really did not see that on the table?
Yeah, I would say Texas losing to UTSA, and I will say this. After watching UTSA over the weekend, that's a really good baseball team. Pat Hallmark has an awesome team. I just thought Texas at home, I mean, they're really difficult to beat in the postseason period, much less at Dishwalt Field. And UTSA just honestly, from being here all weekend, they look like the much better team. It's kind of crazy to say, but they look like a much better team than the number 2 national seed. I thought they had a lot of balance offensively. I love the fact that against Texas in the second game, James Taussig, their 3-hole hitter who's 6'4", 235, against Dylan Volantis, the fat freshman. He drops down a bunt in a situation that under no circumstance would you expect him to bunt. And so I love the fact they do a lot of little things. It reminded me of some of those old school like Fullerton clubs or, I think back to the 14 Louisiana Raging Cajuns club that went like 58-9 or something but didn't get to Omaha. They could do a lot of little things differently. And so, I thought just the way they looked overall was really impressive.
Hey, what do you make of – how do you feel about Arizona?
Yeah, the biggest thing for them that they've done as of late is they've pitched at a very high level. They've always had potential offensively this year. You look at Brendan Summerhill, Mason White has been awesome. I think Aaron Walton last night had 2 or 3 home runs for the Wildcats. But the big key for them lately is, Kevin Vance's pitching staff did a really nice job. I mean, you look at the back end of the bullpen with Tony Pluta. You look at Smith Bailey, one of the more talented younger arms in the country. Had a really good start last night for him. So, yeah, you go back to the start of the Big 12 tournament, and Arizona has pitched a very high level. And that's something that, as you look at a formula of a team that can win a national championship, you look at a team that has that balance of offense and pitching. And right now, Arizona has both going at a pretty impressive clip.
Hey, and I picked West Virginia not to backpack, and I love Backage, but what do you think? What do you think? What's going on in Clemson? Do you think? I'm kind of the resident ACC honk. You like their trajectory?
Well, I do. I think the big thing with Clemson is it might be better for them just to get away from home for a couple of years. I do think it's one of those situations to where, at some point it gets in your head. I think back, and I'll give Arkansas credit because they dominated their weekend. But, I think back to, Arkansas and a couple of bad, regionals or super regionals they had. At some point when that happens, let's say every other year, perception becomes a reality. And what happens is, as a team, you start to internalize this thing like, oh no, like, this is a tipped moment and, we're going to lose this thing. And I think for Clemson, I think it's almost gotten to the point where when they host a home regional and things go south for a second, it's like, oh, here we go again. It's like a roller coaster. And so I just think for them, I do like the talent acquisition they have. I do think they need to get better on the mound, specifically in the starting role. But, I mean, Backage is an elite coach. I think he'll know what he needs to fix. But, again, I think they're just one of those programs. They need to just get over the hump. They just do not play well in tight situations in the postseason. That's plain and simple.
Kendall, I know we've got a few teams left to punch their tickets or get eliminated into the Super Regionals here. But of the teams that have advanced or are still alive so far, who do you like the most?
Yeah, I will tell you what. I really like the way Florida State played over the weekend. And, I picked North Carolina to win the national championship. So we'll
Smart man.
Tonight against OU. But, yeah, I like their club a lot, man.
Me too.
So I like them a lot. I think they'll win tonight. But, Florida State, I thought the way they played against Mississippi State and just the way they played in Tallahassee this weekend was impressive. Miles Bailey has big-time power. They pitched a high level. Jamie Arnold had 13 strikeouts against Mississippi State. Lynx Club is playing a very, very good brand of baseball. Now Auburn is another team for me. I thought Auburn, they did not host an ultra-easy regional. NC State's always pesky. Steve Tremper does a nice job with Stetson. But Auburn just totally blitzing NC State the way they did was incredibly impressive.
They've been so good at home too. Like that kind of held up. I was a little worried about Auburn. I'm not going to kid you.
I was too. I actually was too.
All right. So Ravi's afraid to ask the question because he's mad since he left at Nebraska. And I said, nobody's going to know more about Texas A&M than Kendall.
Yeah.
What do you think's going on there with how some of the fan base is feeling about the athletic department and what's going on with some of their teams?
Yeah, I think the big thing is I think people are kind of getting a rude awakening on Trev Alberts a little bit. They hired that guy to come in there and kind of clean up the books a little bit, get their finances under control. They were spending like they just won the lottery, which that's kind of the way the Texas schools operate, at least UT and A&M. But, it's one of those situations where he's come in and wanting to cut a lot of costs, and now the fans are kind of like, well, wait, hold on a second. That's not what we hired you for. Well, no, that is what you hired him for. And so I'm not saying he kept Mike early just to save money, but that certainly played a part. I mean, I think if you look at Trev Alberts and you look at, you weren't getting Tony Vitello anyway, but just for a second, let's just entertain that idea. That's who they inquired about. You'd be paid a $4 million buyout. You'd be paying Mike Early $3 million of a buyout, and then you'd have to go pay Tony Vitello's salary. So totaling all that up, if you're an AD who's looking at dollars and cents, that makes no sense. I think Brian O'Connor was another guy that they would have taken a hard look at had they really wanted to make a change again. His buyout's $800,000. You're paying him $800,000. You're paying Mike Early $3 million. You're probably paying Brian O'Connor $2 million. Again, the math isn't great there. So I know it's not what A&M fans want to hear, but I honestly think it was a cost savings thing. I mean, if he keeps Mike Early one more year, he either blows it out next year, or he does not so great. And guess what? Trev Alberts just saved $1 million on his buyout. So Trev Alberts is this is his albatross now. If A&M baseball struggles next year, it will be him that will be kind of the blame. It will no longer be Mike Early. So it's a gamble by Trev. There's no doubt about that. We'll see if the gamble pays off.
So O'Connor's move doesn't surprise you?
It doesn't. I do know for a fact, kind of behind the scenes, that he would have looked very hard at A&M versus Mississippi State. But, that's one of those situations to where, at the end of the day, if it looks like A&M's not going to make a move, Mississippi State's an awesome job. I mean, the fans love it. The ballpark.
That ballpark
awesome.
is amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's there's maybe one or two schools that I feel like care as much about baseball as Mississippi State. It'd be Arkansas and LSU. And yeah, I mean, that's a great job. And we'll see how he does. I mean, he's bringing Kevin McMullen and Kirby is recruiting coordinator, but from Virginia. So there's not going to be a lot of deep South flair on the staff, which I think is kind of interesting. But there's no doubt OC is an awesome coach, and it'll be really cool to see what he can do at a place like that certainly just oozes college baseball.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because for all the challenges that we feel like Mississippi State has in other sports in competing, none of those things seem to apply to baseball.
And I mean,
at all.
The Noble is just got like that place is, I don't know. How does it not trickle into baseball, Kendall?
What was your question?
Well, the other sports, whether it's football, post the Leach, and I mean everybody.
Just the general challenges of winning at Mississippi State in an SEC that typically has more resources than they do.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, I do think Mississippi State's unique in the sense that I don't want to say they don't put money into football, but that is a program or an athletics department that realizes their chances of winning big is probably a little bit better in baseball. So I actually think if you look at the upcoming rush year, and we'll see the figures when they come out, but when you see the upcoming rush years and things like that in the SEC, I think you're going to notice pretty quickly, who is putting more emphasis on baseball. Mississippi State will certainly be one of those teams.
Of the teams that were in, I assume you like Arkansas the most. If Carolina gets in, do you like Carolina more than Arkansas?
I do right now. I do. I think if you look at the front of the rotation with Jake Knapp and Jason DeCaro, you look at Walker McDuffie on the back end. I like their balance offensively. I love Kane Kepley in center. I always think of teams, if they get to Omaha, how do they match up at the ballpark? And if you look at Kane Kepley, his ability to control a lot of real estate out there.
Yeah, my little squatty body lefty. I like to see he can move.
They just match up with Schwab perfectly. So yeah, I still like the North Carolina.
Is there a dark horse you're looking at that you go, hey, maybe not to win the national championship, but you're like, they could win a couple games in Omaha?
Oh, if Oregon State gets by SC.
I know this sounds crazy just because that this is recency bias, but I'm telling you what, man, like UTSA is really good.
Okay.
Yeah,
KP
KP liked them too. He picked Texas not to get out of that region.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing about UTSA is they're not a Cinderella. I mean, they won the American Conference by like 7 games. Guess who's also in the American? A school called East Carolina.
Yeah.
So the fact that they won that league by 7 games, frankly, maybe it's one of those situations where we all kind of just I wouldn't say overlooked them, but just kind of thought, okay, well, the Americans just down. No, maybe they're just that good.
Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball. We'll see you up here in a couple weeks. Kendall, great talk to you as always.
Yeah, you got it. Good to see. Good to talk, buddy.
Bye.
That's Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball. Good stuff as always from Kendall.
I'll entertain the 3-game series for another regional.
So I'm trying to mentally work out. So you add another round, basically.
Yep.
So another weekend.
Yep.
So you start with 32 sites instead of 16.
Yep.
2 teams at each site. 3-game series. So you basically have 3 super regionals in a row.
Correct.
I'm in. I can do that. I like that. Best 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. That solves your problem.
It
and
does.
it gets rid of the single elimination idea. Yeah. I could do that. Give me one more week of postseason college baseball.
I'm thinking off the top of my head about single elim, and I get it. Some people will bristle up at that, but other sports function doing it.
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's a disaster if you go single elim. I really don't. I do think I like the 3 rounds of 3-game series better. I think. Because it is the most replicable from the regular season.
Do you start the season earlier?
No, you probably get rid of some of the early season like tournaments maybe.
Yeah, I
bump that up a week.
I don't think you can start it any earlier because
the
North is already
they're already on the road for 6 weeks to start their season anyway.
Yeah, I would not be a fan of that.
You maybe you cut a few regular season games, put a cap on it.
I don't know if the conferences keep growing potentially.
Yeah, you may have
they're
to.
monster conferences.
Yeah, or maybe you get rid of because the conference tournaments don't make that much money in baseball, right?
Yeah.
So maybe you get rid of conference tournaments.
You know who's kind of bugging me that we haven't talked about?
Give the autos to the regular season champ.
Who? And they got to get by today.
Who?
Probably should be talking about LSU more.
Maybe.
It seems.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I'm just glad he gave Florida State a shout out. Like how the Knowles are playing. You see that little Oppo Taco grand slam?
Carolina's owned them in the last month, so I'm happy about that.
Fine. You guys will do your own thing. We'll do our thing over here. It'll be all right. We'll be back. More Hurrdat Sports Live coming up next.
You've brought up your family multiple times. How has being a grandfather changed you as a person and maybe as a coach too?
Well, it definitely changed me as a coach because, Merritt Beeson made a comment to me about a year ago, like, you just need to pretend we're Madden, your granddaughter. If you just treat us like that, everything will be great. And that really hit me. And and again, part of this is, when you're coaching, you miss out on a lot of what your kids are doing, and your wife has to kind of manage all that. And Madden's starting to get into a lot of things right now, and I just kind of feel like I want to be a part of that and be close to that and be around that and support Lauren. Helping out with babysitting, and Madden's at an age now she wants to hang out with me. So we play volleyball. Of course, I'm the coach, and my wife's Harper, and she's Merritt, and we got a softball. We go at it.
I love it. landscape of college wrestling. How much growth have you seen from the first day you stepped on this campus to right now in terms of the fans, the attention, the TV deals?
Yeah, I think, our crowds have got really much bigger the last 4 or 5 years. But I think we've always had exciting guys. Now we have a team full of guys that are really exciting to watch, and they're going to fight to the death. And we have 6 All-Americans coming back next year. So come on, Husker fans. We want to pack that Devaney every time. And I think, Terry Pettit and John Cook have set that ladder for women's volleyball. And I think, we can be that next sport to pack the Bob Devaney and really put people on their feet. And, we're starting a student section next year. So really challenging our students out there.
And of course, you went to Elkhorn South. You were a Maverick at UNO. I mean, what more could you ask for to be right here in this moment representing really all of Omaha, just here at the Oscars?
Yeah, there's a lot of better athletes than me out here in this crowd tonight. I'm not nominated for my athletic abilities, and that's totally fine with me. I love covering all these amazing women and men from where I grew up. I mean, this is what I've dreamed of, and it's incredible.
Moving on from with Hurrdat Sports, you've also worked with CBS Sports a little bit too. So can you tell us a little bit about branching out even further than just the Omaha area? Because you gained a little bit more repetition and a little bit more notoriety than getting that regional stuff as well.
Yeah, I think it all starts local, what I do here, and then moving up to national coverage is absolutely amazing. And just getting to put my name out there, and the fact that anybody around the United States can flip on a TV and see me is a pretty crazy thought. Don't know how I got here sometimes, but a lot of hard work, a lot of people along the way that have helped me. But yeah, the idea is for me to keep branching out, go from these regional and local coverage to as much national as I can do, and hopefully bringing our local coverage nationally as well.
A successful financial future is built one coin at a time. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned saver, we've got the financial resources and team of experts who will be with you every step of the way. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
We're back here on Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. We're here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill, where tomorrow it's your favorite day. Kids eat free.
Yeah, I wonder what the new June specials are going to be.
I don't know. We got to find out. I haven't looked at the.
I feel like we know people.
I know. I haven't asked. I forgot to. Honestly, June snuck up on me. I kind of looked at the calendar yesterday. I was like, what do you mean it's June?
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. But
it is crazy.
Kids eat free on Tuesdays. Make sure you get out here tomorrow to Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. I
should know, too, because Zoe's birthday is Wednesday.
Bring her in here. Get a little free food.
Well, they don't eat free on Wednesday.
No, but you bring her in early.
I'm right here.
She's right here.
She is currently at volleyball camp.
Volleyball camp?
Yeah, with Coach Saunders.
Well, What? So she's 6. How does volleyball go with 6-year-olds?
I don't know. I've never seen it, but she has a K. She has a K through 2.
That seems like a mess.
So I was up for I watched The Outsiders last night.
Okay. Like Rob Lowe.
I think the credits rolled at like 4:47.
Emilio. Dude, what's wrong with you?
I don't know, but I know what I was thinking about.
What?
So her birthday's June 4th.
Okay.
She'll be 7.
Okay.
She's already done with first grade.
Okay. That's about right.
No, it's not even close.
No?
No.
What do you mean?
She's a full year early.
Oh, so she's how I was, because I was August.
A full year early.
I didn't turn 7 until a week before I started second grade.
They will never celebrate that girl's birthday in school.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
And she's going to be 7.
Yeah. So she's young for her grade.
Extremely.
Yeah.
But she's not small.
Yeah.
She's tall. I mean, she's like your boy Batia, but
Akshay.
Yeah.
Just a little tiny.
Yeah. She's wild. Going to
and lucky her for
Lilo and Stitch.
never getting to celebrate her birthday in school. I always had to celebrate my birthday.
Her teachers have been cool so far. They let her do it like the second or the last day.
It always bummed me out because I was never in school for my birthday either because I'm in.
You're the 13th?
12th, August.
Yeah,
and so,
my buddy Brian's is the 13th.
And so, like, I was always a few days, which I didn't want to go back to school on my birthday, but it was kind of cool to see all the other kids. Like, you do their birthday celebration. I never got that, which kind of sucked.
When does it stop being cool? It's got to be middle school, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was only elementary. Elementary school was the only.
You get to bring your own treat?
Yeah, you, like, bring your own treat, and a lot of times you'll do, like, people will bring food in or something, or, like, some.
It's a lot of rules.
Oh, yeah. Well, now especially. It wasn't as bad back in the day.
So, I think we got a cookie company here got booted. Didn't make the cut.
Oh, really?
Couldn't bring them.
Because allergens?
I don't know why.
Usually it's like they don't have like a clean, not clean, but like a cross-contaminating kitchen, like if they've got peanuts or something because of allergies.
Yeah, I'm like,
or like
they didn't make the cut.
It's tough. It's tough out here.
Enjoy your boring popsicles then.
Hey, we're out.
That sucks. All right. Speaking of which, did you see those pecan rolls?
Yeah, I did, man. Those things are thick with 3 C's.
I could knock you out with one of those.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That box is ridiculously heavy.
Those are dense enough. Like you could. I don't think they look soft. Like they look good, but they're dense enough you could break a window.
Yep. You should go carry that box.
I don't want to. I'm tired.
So shout out to my man Les.
No, I appreciate Les.
Always looking out. Shane, you could probably eat for a year.
Oh, for sure, Shane could eat for a year, without a doubt.
I mean, maybe.
Asian
Wyatt probably oatmeal raisin allergies. I'm sick of you guys and your oatmeal raisin slander.
Is it slander if it's true?
It's slander. It's
no.
I mean,
it's slander.
It's taste buds, and they're the cool thing about them is they're pretty individualized.
Allegedly.
I mean, the blanket hate is.
I still don't believe
is
people.
uncalled for.
I still don't believe people that are like, oh yeah, I love the taste of vegetables. I don't believe them. I just don't.
What about vegetarians?
Is raisins a vegetable?
No.
See, then what are we doing here?
We're talking about other stuff here, Shane.
I had raisins this week.
I took the analogy he was talking about with cookies, and I applied it to vegetables and taste buds.
I like grapes,
but
too,
I agree
so
with you
I
on
don't have
that.
any problems with raisins.
Yeah. I'm not a big raisin fan, so that's my issue with oatmeal raisin cookies. Because there's other oatmeal cookies I'm okay with. Like, it's not the oatmeal part.
What is it? What other oatmeal cookie? What is
oatmeal
it?
scotchies?
No.
Never had oatmeal scotchies?
Do you eat oatmeal just as
butter.
oatmeal?
KB is a child.
Would you eat oatmeal just as oatmeal?
No.
I think it's awful.
I'm either grits or cream of wheat. If I'm doing something like that.
Too old to be eating oatmeal, unless it's blended in a shake or something.
So I've done that. I've blended oatmeal like the
steel cut
in the shake. But that's when I was in my weird powerlifting days. I don't do that anymore.
So I tried to get some help with the sleep and cortisol and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I literally was probably up all night.
So it did not.
It had to be something else.
Yeah.
Or maybe it needs time.
Oh, to get in your system?
Yeah, but
maybe.
I didn't read for the capsule release.
Give it a few days, maybe. I don't know.
Well, I did it one night. I was scared to go back. Literally, I'm not exaggerating. Between Saturday night and Sunday night, we're talking. I mean, we're talking 7 hours max.
Oof. Total?
Max.
Oof. Yeah, you got to figure that out, man.
Yeah. So I found myself Googling at 4:13 this morning.
Yeah.
Because there's a sign in The Outsiders when Dally holds up the convenience store.
Mhm.
So I saw the bacon sign and then the cigarettes. It was a 6-pack of Winks.
Winks?
For 66 cents. And I wondered if it was a real thing. It is not.
Is it like their version of Twinkies or something?
Well, that's just it. It's behind the counter
Oh,
on
so
the
you
movie.
can't
It's
see it?
something nobody's probably even paying attention because Dally has the gun in his head.
Yeah.
The guy goes, the fake Clark Kent, he goes, I'm so sick of you kids. Before he pulls out the gun and shoots him. I'm busy trying to read the signs on the back.
Man.
Read the signs on the back of the. Hey, and by the way, 50 years old again. They shot Dally when he was on the ground.
Yeah, it's kind of messed up.
Like, I mean,
it's kind of messed up.
No, I mean he was pointing a gun at him, but like once he's on the ground, like
That's what I always do, and they never catch me. Ain't nobody gonna catch me.
they said, "Stop! He's just a kid."
All right, Pony Boy.
Not a Pony Boy guy. Not a Pony Boy guy.
Man, so I haven't seen that movie.
He was a crybaby
You know,
gump.
is that Ralph Macchio?
No, it's C. Thomas Howell.
Oh, that's right. I get them confused. It's been a while since I've seen that one.
Yeah, he had the fake outrage with Cherry because she wasn't vibing.
Yeah. Isn't Emilio in that one too?
Emilio, yeah, he
Yeah.
was.
All right.
Big Mickey Mouse fan was Emilio.
Was he?
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse
My
Club?
man, 2-Bit, yeah.
Nah, I don't know. I probably haven't seen that movie in 25 years.
I bet I've seen it 25 times.
That's a lot.
It is. It is.
It's just like a go-to. You like
It's
that
just,
one?
I love it.
All right.
It's a great movie.
I read the book.
Yeah.
That counts for something.
It took me forever to put together Leif Garrett too.
Stay golden, Pony Boy.
Yeah, I do like that song by Stevie Wonder.
Yeah. It's a good line. I don't, Pony Boy can take or leave him.
Some of the cinema is so cheesy with the sunsets and the fake wind blowing, and I'm like, God, I like this.
A lot of 80s movies, like.
But wasn't it like that back in the 50s?
I mean, probably.
Times were different back then.
I remembered it was Oklahoma because I saw
Cleaner
Oklahoma
air.
Steelhouse on one of the buildings as they got dropped off on the bus.
Yeah.
Less cityscape, more
your guy.
sunscape.
I'm your outsiders guy.
Actually, at that time, Shane, the air quality was actually worse because they didn't have any of that.
Which, by the way, it's suspect right now here in Omaha.
I was out playing tennis yesterday. It was pretty rough.
Yeah, so Ramby called it horrible.
Yeah, it was bad.
Or dangerous.
Yeah, you could see the haze and stuff. Like it was.
But there were fires up north on Friday and Saturday, right?
Yeah, I think they're from Canada. I think, right? Or is it?
I don't know. I think everything you just blame on Canada, even though it is or isn't.
No, I thought they
just said north. I don't know.
They were dealing with some wildfires up there. I thought. I wasn't trying. I'm not like you. I don't blame Canada for everything.
I'm cool with Canada. I don't know why you keep trying to put that.
You're a big Edmonton guy, right? In the NHL.
No.
No, you're not rooting for the Oilers.
I am Team Panther.
You fawn over Connor McDavid.
Black Panther, baby.
That's a different thing.
Well,
Florida Panthers and Black Panther are different people.
I am cheering.
So it's a Marvel thing?
So you had King T'Challa.
I am cheering for the.
Oh, you mean the other Black Panthers? Like the ones Forrest Gump broke up their party?
Yes.
So I forget to find your Black Panther party.
Oh, man, you're too much.
What'd I do?
Nothing.
So I want to ask you a question here.
Okay.
How do you want to do this quarterback draft?
Oh, boy.
Because let's be honest, Shane probably not going to help us out a lot here.
No, I know.
I have a list, and I can share them so you can look at it all at once of every quarterback in the power conferences that we talked about. But how do you want to do it? Do you want to wait?
I can't even sift through who I'd take one.
I mean, there's a handful of guys that are in the conversation, like Aller.
Do I have to keep them respective to their team?
Yes. You have to keep them in context.
Oh, boy.
So you've got Aller.
So I don't care if they play in the NFL or not.
Absolutely not.
Whew.
This is for this year.
Don't matter to me.
Oh, it's going to be a circus.
Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to ask you how you want to do it. Do you want to bring on a guest to do it with us, or you just want it to be you and me?
Might have to get a guess.
Because this might be a fun exercise for Tim.
Yeah.
I feel like Tim.
He does like stuff like this.
I feel like Tim would be good at this.
Who was the number one overall pick?
There's only a few options, I think.
No, I'm not assuming it's Klubnik.
I'm not either, but I think there's a few options. I don't think there's a ton of options at one.
I got a surprise for you.
Uh-oh.
I got a surprise for
like
you.
Carl Lewis singing the national anthem type of surprise?
Yeah. And the Rockets, regular.
Uh-oh. What's the surprise?
I would take a good hard look. Are we playing this like fantasy so we want their statistics?
I think so, but I'd like to include an element of winning since that's what we've been talking about.
So we can tier wins.
Yeah.
We can tier wins.
Yeah.
Like wins are worth so much. Per 1,000 yards thrown is worth so much. Oh, this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
Do you know who I'm thinking about?
Altmaier?
No.
All right.
Crackhead?
You don't got to be disrespectful. Like
no, I'm not even sure they're getting to 8 wins.
You asked about the NFL. You asked about wins. So I was, okay, who?
I'm taking a good hard look at Arch Manning.
Dude, you hate Arch Manning.
I don't hate him.
Hate him. You just aren't sure.
Yeah.
No, it's fair.
Yeah.
You aren't sure. Like me
and he's a Texas guy, so it's conflict of interest.
Love Texas.
So I got to take the wins. That is
the wins matter. The wins matter because that's the context of this whole conversation.
I know you're probably thinking Klubnik or
Klubnik's. So Klubnik's.
I mean, you got to pencil Aller in for 23-6, right?
Yeah, and they're going to win a lot. That's why Klubnik's interesting because Clemson's going to win a lot in the ACC.
I told you they're going to win a national championship.
Okay, that's cool, but
I may come off of that.
I think you probably should.
I mean, we'll see. I need just in another month. I'll have it lock stock.
But Klubnik's going to win a lot, and his numbers are going to be pretty good. So Klubnik's going to be tough. I do wonder how much LSU is going to win with Nussmeier. His numbers are going to be okay, but I don't know.
What was he last year? 4,500, 29-12. I think he's 45-06, 29 touchdowns.
I believe it's 29-12 because we looked this up last week.
And he's like 45-06.
Yeah, he's going to be right there. He is 40-52.
40-52?
Yeah.
Right there.
So just over 4,000, 29-12 at 64% completion. So his numbers are going to be there, I would imagine. But I don't know how good LSU is going to be. They might be a tier down in wins from like your Texas.
I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of top 10s for LSU.
That's fine.
A lot of top 10s.
Have we looked at their schedule?
They may lose the opener.
Have we looked at their schedule?
No, we actually didn't go through it.
Let's look at their schedule real quick because I'm curious now.
I need somebody smarter than me. This is like this is a giant head Jed. This is a
get into some stats.
I wanna score the categories without making it too complicated. So maybe it's touchdowns. You get a deduction for interceptions. You get a certain amount of points for yards. A certain amount of points.
I'll do it.
Wins.
I'll come up with this point system tonight.
Yeah. Who's my other guy that I like? Eric.
Stu Manji.
Yeah, Stu Manji.
Yeah. I'll run it by you to make sure it's okay, but I'll try and keep it simple.
Tinker with that.
I'll probably put it in like ranges, right? So like 1 to 10 touchdowns is worth this many points. 11 to 20 touchdowns is worth this many points. So
I want big numbers, man. We should get per.
Oh, you want like per touchdown?
Yeah.
Okay. What about yards?
No, per 1,000.
Per 1,000.
No, per 500.
Per 500. Okay. I'll do just straight up numbers for touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do per 500 yards for yards minus 3
or whatever for interceptions.
So if we're only counting 1 for touchdowns, minus 2 for interceptions. Fair?
However that works.
Okay. And then
we will embrace it.
We got to come up with a bonus number for wins.
Are we doing rushing yards?
Yeah,
or
we'll
just
have
total
to do rushing yards and touchdowns.
Yeah, it changes things.
It does. It does.
That's fine.
Then like a Lenore Sellers becomes more interesting.
Yeah, but he ain't throwing for 20 touchdowns.
No, he's certainly not. Although he did.
Watch him light the whole thing.
He did like 18 last year. So
watch. Just go light the SEC up.
20's not out of the question. He threw 18 last year.
The only guy I don't want to function at a really high level because I just don't want to hear you have to explain it is DJ Lagway.
I'm finding myself rooting against Lagway and Mateer.
Oh yeah, you've been out on Mateer too.
So that's the thing. I'm not really out on him.
No.
It's why are you getting the benefit of the doubt?
And being in the top 3 or 4. Yeah.
Like again, Lagway might be really good, but we don't know. Like the fact that they're putting him is like, oh yeah, he's third best quarterback in the country. He's not. He might not be the third best quarterback in his conference. That's crazy talk.
Yeah, it is.
And it's not like Nico had better numbers than DJ did.
Who you got with LSU and Clemson?
Clemson, I think. It's at Clemson. I'm going to go Clemson. So they go at Clemson, Louisiana Tech. They go versus Florida. That's not going to be easy. Southeastern Louisiana. So good job there, guys. They go at Ole Miss. So that's another tough road game. They go at Vandy, not a walkover. Texas A&M at Alabama. Versus Arkansas, versus Western Kentucky, at Oklahoma. So they get Oklahoma, Bama, Vandy, Ole Miss, and Clemson on the road.
I know it.
That's pretty rough. And then you get Florida.
Florida's at home.
South Carolina, A&M, and Arkansas at home.
Wait, so they go to Von Hemingway or Ole Miss?
Yes, they go to Ole Miss.
Sorry. I don't even know who Von Hemingway is. I just know that's the name of their stadium.
Yeah, I was like,
And I think it's hyphenated. It might be two people with money.
I don't even recognize.
Yeah, it is hyphenated. Yeah. They do go to
Is
Ole
my
Miss.
recollection uncanny?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what the F you're talking about here, bud.
Did you want to cuss?
A little bit. It wasn't quite like when you dropped Washington rowing on me, but I was like,
so
like,
at the risk of Cole being mad at me, do you know what he taught? Because I'm very leery of him making fun of me.
What?
I didn't have the stones to ask if you watched Oregon and Oklahoma softball. I feel like I should have been able to ask
Oh,
that.
you can ask. That's the Women's College World Series. That's a reasonable ask. I didn't catch it. I watched UCLA, Tennessee. I didn't catch Oregon, Oklahoma.
That's fine.
There was a lot going on. So
I don't want Cole crushing me.
No, Women's College World Series is a very reasonable thing to ask about. Like, that's a big deal.
So I could have said, hey, man, did you see Oklahoma, Oregon? And you wouldn't have looked at me like,
no, I wouldn't have looked
how'd
at
you say the other one? You're like,
no. I wouldn't have looked at you funny. That's a reasonable ask. Probably should have caught it. I'll be honest, though. It was all regional baseball for me and French Open.
Could I have referenced Spieth hitting one in the sand on a critical
I
second
didn't
shot?
I didn't watch any golf.
Okay.
I watched no golf.
See, I'm like, Cole's in my head.
Golf is reasonable, though, I think. Although
I know sometimes, though, with particular shots, I'm a little leery because maybe I'm not super locked. I just happen to see it.
Yeah. So, like, individual shots like that, I'll just be honest. Outside of majors, I'm not, like, locking in on golf.
So the reason I'm so dialed is because the stupid quad box kept giving me the memorial.
Yeah.
I tried. I changed.
You tried to get out it?
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't quad box that much this weekend.
Because, well,
I had the multiple TVs. So you were outside on just the one TV, right?
Yeah, but the living room TV was on a fair amount because I seem to be by myself a ton. Like a lot of people were home.
You need a friend I can come over? Hang out?
Man. I don't know about a friend.
You got a friend in me. No? Little Toy Story?
I'm a huge Toy Story guy.
Great. Toy Story is terrific.
Who's your favorite character?
I think I'm a Woody guy.
Me too.
I think he's my favorite.
Big Woody guy.
Yeah. He's the dude.
I thought you'd say something weird like Buzz.
No, I don't like Buzz is fine.
Little annoying, Mr. Potato Head.
I do kind of like Mr. Potato Head's funny.
So yeah, I don't know why they kept putting the memorial in the quad box.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm
so
guessing.
I kept the quad box for anything that wasn't on Plus.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I used Plus outside.
So yeah, I was doing
because some of our teams were they were playing at the exact. I don't know if you guys noticed.
Nebraska, Creighton.
I'm commenting on Nebraska and Creighton at the exact same time.
So what I was doing is I would have Nebraska, Creighton, and then French Open is what I was doing.
Oh, you know what? I didn't rock with the French until I was trying to read why center got to walk.
Yeah. No, I watched. I mean, I like tennis a lot.
I did see Coco it's 4 straight in the round of 16. Do you know when the last time that was done for an American?
For an American woman?
Yeah.
In the French?
4 straight to the round of 16.
I don't think it was either of the Williams because they weren't great on clay.
Just give me roughly the years.
I'm gonna go all the way back to the late 70s, early 80s.
95 through 99.
Celis?
American.
Monica?
Yeah.
Monica Celis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
It's over 25 years.
Yeah.
And it's golf?
And you've had really, really good American women's players since then.
Yeah, and we have American on American crime in women's too, don't we? Bishop and
Baptiste?
Yeah.
Or Baptiste?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you've got You still have you have 2 Americans alive in the men's side, which is good. Tommy Paul and Francis Tiafoe.
This is silly because we're going to go down this mini rabbit hole, but I know I can talk to you about tennis. You know why Joker's so good on tennis or on clay?
Why's that?
It's what he grew up playing on.
Yeah. That's why a lot of the Europeans are good on it.
So his crossover to the surfaces is that much more impressive because he didn't start doing it until he was older, which in tennis terms is like 12 or 13.
Yeah. That's why so many of the Americans struggle on clay because they don't start until they start playing professionally. They almost never see clay.
Like, so this dude just flip-flopped.
Yeah. Which is kind of funny why, I mean, I get you had the
they brought him on set. And they actually do a good job.
No, the crew's been good.
It's entertaining.
Yeah. Patrick and John are pretty good together on the calls.
Yeah.
And then the actual crew, like sort of their halftime crew, quote unquote, is pretty good.
Yeah, I like the introduction of color. It's nice. A little cocoa and a bowl of milk.
Well, they got Sloane Stevens up there too.
Yeah.
She's been doing some of the broadcast stuff.
Sloane.
Which is weird because she just sort of disappeared.
Yeah.
Like she was like a flash in the night. A lot of injuries.
And she fell out of love
with the sport.
Yeah.
That happens a lot in tennis.
Went through mental.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of which, how about our science guy?
Oh, yeah. John Brinkus.
Brinkus?
Yeah, that was tough.
I didn't realize he battled depression.
I didn't either. Although
those guys probably aren't volunteering.
I'll say, unfortunately, most of the time, a lot of times you don't realize until it's after.
Man, listen, I don't have to tell you that can happen, right?
Yeah, I know.
It can happen to anybody.
Yeah, it really can. I mean, it's if you're not aware, John Brinkus passed away over the weekend.
The sports science guy.
Yeah, which I loved.
Me too.
It's like the perfect sweet spot of my nerdiness for sports and like scientific stuff.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I'm a little upset with him because he was the reason that Severe could go on this rant / diatribe / filibuster on Breeze's accuracy.
Oh, yeah, because the archery thing.
Yes.
That is one of the most remarkable things I've ever seen, though.
It was incredible.
Like, unreal.
And I think...
Like, he's more accurate throwing a football
Breeze,
than
he,
on Olympic
and Severe doesn't
archery.
even like
I know.
Breeze as a, like...
That was one of the most remarkable things
And I'm
I've
like,
ever seen.
I got no pushback.
You can't, right?
So, yeah, but that started this whole quarterback and accuracy thing between he and I.
Yeah.
And it was because of...
There was a few. Sue was on there at one point.
Yeah.
Our guy, Houston Alexander.
Was that the PSIs?
Yeah. The hit impact.
Yeah.
Houston Alexander was on there at one point with striking power. One of my favorite ones was Kevin Love with his like outlet passes. So they had him outlet pass basically into a basket like 90 feet away, which was incredible. Just a real. I mean, obviously we didn't know him, but a lot of these people sort of like become parts of your life, right? Like I watched a ton of sports science. I loved that stuff.
Oh, he said nerdiness meeting the sports world.
It is. It's like it was the perfect combination because it's like you wonder about some of those things, right? Like they're talking about, not to get back to the French Open, but yesterday in the Shelton Alcaraz match, they're talking about like the hardest forehands ever hit. And like that's straight out of the sports science stuff. Like,
Has he turned 20? Alcaraz 20?
He's 22.
Okay.
Him and Shelton are both 22. They like Alcaraz hit 117 mile an hour forehand.
Him and
like that's bonkers.
O'Neal Cruz.
Pretty much.
No, I know.
Like that's nuts.
It is.
And then Shelton's hitting them like 107, 109, and they're like not even close.
Yeah.
And it's like that's like the second hardest forehand of all time.
The only reason that stored in my Rolodex is because I'm like, this dude is going to use this as ammo between hitting a golf ball and striking a tennis ball. So I was cringing. I'm like, I'm not even seeing 117.
No, and that's a forehand. That's not even a serve.
I'm not seeing 117.
Ben Shelton yesterday hit 149 on the serve.
Yeah.
149.
I'd be terrified.
Yeah, you just like I wouldn't
and
even.
Mr. Deeds was on this weekend. I would be the guy that got hit in the chest.
Absolutely, you just take one in the chest. You're like, oh.
I would turn my back.
Oh, 100. I'd be terrified.
I would turn my back.
I'd
be like, thunk.
I've seen about
or
like,
just cover my privates and turn my head.
just cover with the racket and hope for the best.
I'd rather stand at 60 feet 6 inches with a bat.
Absolutely. Like
and that's can be terrifying.
It's also very scary. I've seen like 100 off a tennis racket on a serve, and it's pretty scary.
Yeah.
I can't imagine 50% more than that. That's horrifying.
I've seen low 90s at 60 feet 6 inches, and it's hard.
I think the highest I ever saw was like 91.
Yeah,
89, 91, which is still humming.
Yeah.
Like, that's still pretty good.
There are a couple guys on multiple staffs that could touch low 90s when I was in high school.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Now apparently wouldn't even get him an SEC offer.
Wow. Do you want to do a quick rundown of who you're taking today?
Of who I'm taking for what? Oh, the baseball?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, give it to me real quick.
Would you like to start easy breezy, or what are we doing?
Easy breezy always. You know me.
Let's do let's start with the first one. Carolina, Oklahoma.
I'm going to take the Tar Heels.
Murray State, Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
LSU, Little Rock.
I'm going to take LSU.
Ooh, awful chalky.
I mean,
SC and Oregon State. Oregon State is a 2-1 fave.
I'm gonna take Oregon State. I don't feel great.
Okay. Wake Forest, Tennessee.
I'm gonna go Wake Forest here.
Tennessee is a 3-1 fave, -300.
That seems way too high. Give me a little plus money on Wake Forest.
And
today.
this one is relatively low. Miami and Southern Miss.
I'm taking Southern Miss.
Wow, just -165?
I'm taking Southern Miss. I think give me a little plus money on Wake Forest.
What do you think the total is in Murray State, Ole Miss?
Oof.
Oh, you might be able to see it.
I haven't looked. It might be on there, but I haven't looked. I'm gonna guess 12.5.
16.5.
Good Lord.
That is the highest of the day.
So nobody has pitchers left.
Yeah. The lowest is 12.5.
Oh, that's 12.5 is the lowest?
The lowest on the day.
So nobody's got anybody left. What is that? North Carolina, Oklahoma?
Yep.
So nobody's got any arms left.
And outside of them scoring 17, that region has played out about
how you thought it would.
Yeah.
The 7. I mean, again, once it started to snowball in Nebraska, it just that wasn't happening. It just wasn't happening. That's it is a little chalky. I think USC could win. I mean,
no way Little Rock wins. Right?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
wouldn't that be something?
It would be, but I can't imagine.
I know.
I can't imagine.
I know Omaha Better Business Bureau Convention Center.
That's rooting for LSU.
They're like, man, go LSU.
Go Tigers.
Yeah.
They're going all Coach O on you.
Seriously.
No, it does. It makes a huge difference.
And it's expensive now.
Yeah. To get on up here.
Yeah.
Get on up.
Hotels are already changing their prices.
Oof. They probably changed them like 3 months ago.
Yeah, good point.
Those, like, if you're trying to book dates in middle of June, good luck.
Yeah, tain't happening.
Yeah, not even a little bit. That is what we've got for you here today. We'll be back tomorrow with, of course, our regular Mike J. Schaefer. Maybe have some other stuff for you as well. And we'll reveal the point system for the draft.
Would I draft Haynes King #1?
Oh,
you're giving me rushing yards?
Come on, man.
I feel like it's a little fantasy.
Come on,
They're not going to win enough.
I'm going to make it so that the rushing yards are not weighed as heavily because that's silly.
Of course.
Haynes King #1?
I thought you'd say that about Arch.
You remember? Well, no, because I'm counting wins too. You remember the wins count too, right? He still plays for Georgia Tech, right? Yeah. He still plays for the Yellow Jackets. Yeah, I would maybe ease up on the Haynes King #1. Maybe we're doing a little too much with these.
It's just processing out loud.
Okay. Well, let's process past that one.
Wow. I feel like I'm being shamed.
You are a little bit. That's embarrassing.
I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed.
I'm going to have to make sure that we're not evaluating rushing yards too much so you don't make a mistake there.
I'm sorry.
You're going to end up taking Dampier, the Utah guy, too. Well, maybe.
They're only going to win 7 games, though.
I know. It's going to be Damon Williams is going to be your #1 pick. Nah.
Keep sleeping. That dude is the real deal.
You like that guy.
I love him. I love him with fish, too.
We'll be back tomorrow. More Hurrdat Sports Live.
See you. Have a good day. Love you.